has a block feature there, Ghost. All right. Welcome, everyone, from YouTube. Just to make sure y'all know, in YouTube land, that this is the way that this is going to work here in the future. In fact, let me move some stuff over real quick. Boop. Where are you? There you are. So, if this is going to work, is welcome. This is going to be a... How can I put this? This will be available for everyone to watch for the full block of 6 hours or however long it takes on YouTube for anybody to watch. I will also, in the future, possibly, I am toying with the idea, I might do it for this one, is pulling out the sections, so like the actual live section, and putting it up on separately from this, kind of like how I do the capsules for my office hours, where I pull those up as separate sections because people really like that. But leaving this up as the full 4-hour options for people to do that. So you have several different options to do it. You can either watch it through the live stream or you can watch it as the pre-recorded stuff. At least for now, if I do that, I won't include the Q&A. The Q&A will be linked in for this whole thing. So, are we live right now? You should be. YouTube. But I'll go back to YouTube for now. You fix some stuff real quick. Quit this game. Here we go. So we're going to have HC Vertigo. And Fast Cart on today. And the goal is to talk a little bit about how Star Citizen's kind of focus is changing away from space-oriented gameplay and more focused on the first-person out-of-your-ship sort of gameplay. Even in the gameplay that we see for ships has a lot to do with non-ship related issues, like flight issues. So things like engineering and such. And so, as always, as we're getting started, as we're setting up here, because the guests will be here in about 30 minutes. I need another screen of this for the intro stuff. I'll just do this for now. I'll just do this for now, and in the future I'll pay Darj to get another screen like this, just with the pre-show sort of thing going on. But I would like to know y'all's thoughts on this. Do you think this is a good thing? Do you think this is a bad thing? Would you like to see more emphasis? What parts of the first-person experience would you like to see more emphasis thrown onto? That sort of thing. Hey, Astro Chronicles, how you doing? The economy? In what way? Madness. I mean, it's pretty generic, because the economy, because they'll put my teacher hat on here and be like, the economy is simply a series of choices that are made on a grand scale. So if you want to have economy, you already have economy in Star Citizen. You have choices. That can affect you in terms of your resources and such. Yep, that already exists. So check that off. You're talking about the dynamic economy. You're talking about specifically the more dynamic nature of it. I don't see it as a shift in focus so much as filling in other aspects of Star Citizen. Granted, I might be just snorting the copium here. Fast card HD Vertigo. This roundtable will certainly punch above its weight class. Yep. I'm still stuck on the better server performance and stability as a general thing that needs to be improved and focused on. Yeah, but the people who are focusing on that stuff aren't the same people who are designing gameplay for things like UGFs or investigation missions or, you know, stealth missions. It's not the same disciplines. Thank you, Dropped Yogurt. Here's a little tip. When you do something like that, where you say, I'm helping with the algorithm, that actually sometimes doesn't help with the algorithm. So just posting and saying, hey, I like the video, this is good, keep it going. That's fine. That's a great comment to make, because that still counts as engagement. But the algorithm does also read comments, or at least it scans what's being said. So it's if it sees the word algorithm in it, sometimes it can actually actively sense it's trying to be manipulated, sort of thing. But thank you for that. Yeah, that's the easiest way to help out any content creator if you're watching on YouTube, is to hit the like button and put a little comment down. That helps. Another thing that can help if you're on Twitch is just hitting that follow button. That's just absolutely free. With the first player experience, how does CIG plan on respecting players' time? That's a good question. I don't think you're going to see CIG doing a lot of content that's for people without a lot of time. Like, you're going to have time in this game. Time or money. Those are the two options. Is it starting to anyone else that this might be... Is it starting to feel to anyone else like this year might be the year of new missions? There's definitely a lot of that. Want to go through and do it all again? You don't have to. Just in the future, just make sure you put that in there in the future. That's all. What's not a lot of time? I have no idea. Based off of my experiences, I would say between if you have less than 2 hours of gameplay per day or per week, you're probably not going to be able to do much. Star Citizen is designed to have some content, but not all content is going to be equal, and not all content is going to be accessible by people who don't have a lot of time. Thank you, Dan Little. And they're mad. Orcs and bunkers on the platforms might be a good example of a time saver. What do you mean? Like being able to repair random stuff with no projected expectations of having to kill mob or pirates. Yeah, that kind of stuff's nice. No, that's true. To that point, it doesn't necessarily mean that the content for people with less time automatically is less fun than content to people with more time. That's true, but it's just one of those realities of games, especially with online games. Like, you can to tell what a gameplay session is. Look at how long an event is, because CIG tends to put events at lengths which they think are about a session. And an average event is between an hour and 2 hours. So that would be my guess, is that CIG is willing to make it so that you can have a complete experience in about an hour or 2 hours. Let's say you wake up in Hurston and you need to get to Pyro, and the shop at the bottom of a bunker. They show this week. Oh, they show this week. What's the time to get there? It's hard to tell. We don't know. Based off of current travel times, about an hour. Maybe a little longer. That's a really neat point of observation. Generally speaking, CIG has two different modes. They have missions and then they have events. The missions are, my guess based off of events, they're designed to be about 15 to 20 minutes each mission. Plus there's setup time and other things like that, which can matter. But fun intervals to 1 to 2 hours. Have you noticed that in other games as well? Yeah. It's a pretty standard kind of interval. Most board games are about an hour to 2 hours, is their plan to be. An hour to 2 hours is about long enough for a person to enjoy a content without feeling bored, that you can easily stimulate that kind of experience. What are your thoughts on Ubisoft and their Star Wars game coming out? I haven't really seen much of that Star Wars game, so... Yeah, when you're dealing with other people, when you're grouping up with people, it can take 30 minutes to get people together. But that's never going to change in Star Citizen. CIG and has been pretty clear on the, like, Star Citizen is going to be a big game about preparing. You're going to have to prepare before you go. So some gameplay sessions may just be preparing for other gameplay sessions. How interconnected do you think various locations and tools are? Do you think they could transition from UGF to a cave or building interior? Yeah. 100%. Or maybe even space station rooms. In theory, that could work. But almost certainly you'll see a UGF transitions in the caves. They've even talked about that. They talked about that at CitizenCon last year. Unfortunately, I think the time intervals of boredom are dramatically different these days. The popularity of TikTok short clip-based content has really changed a lot. I fundamentally disagree with the concept that people's attention span is getting shorter. It's that people's willing to put up with bullshit is shorter. Because, like, 30 years ago, before the internet really had a ton of content, you had television, books, and movies and plays and stuff like that, but there was less options. So you had to just deal with the fact that there was less options, and you would make a choice based off of your best stuff. But even then, the average commercial is 30 seconds. You know, a minute commercial happens, even back then, would be pretty long, unless they were really well made. So advertisers always knew that they only didn't have a ton of time to be able to get people. And generally speaking, you didn't see epic, long 4-hour movies. You saw like an hour and a half. What happened was, as we got more content, people began to have more options. So their attention span for what is going to be available to them had dropped. You know, if I have a chance of picking up my phone and getting as much entertainment out of, you know, an hour and a half of short clips as I would watching an hour and a half movie, this is free. You know, and repeatable. The movie costs a lot more and takes a little bit more time and effort. So that's just really the case overall. I think we don't necessarily have a lack of attention span. It's just a lack of attention span for bullshit. If you're curious to know thoughts on players' time, how much sidetrack gameplay that feels meaningful while we're branching out stuff. That's something that CIG has to dial down, but the other thing to keep in mind right now is that a lot of the time that takes to play Star Citizen is hampered by bugs and incomplete content. That's why it's hard to judge a lot of this stuff, because I think CIG plans for like a bunker mission to take about 15 minutes. Maybe 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes. Like the 20, 25 minute sweet spot. And, you know, a box mission to take about the same amount of time. But because of other issues like bugged, dying randomly, falling through planets, elevators eating people, not being able to get us seats of ships, insert a list of other issues here, that time goes exponentially longer. Hey, Halfsec. Do I have the head tracker? I do. Toby actually gave it to me for free, so I have it. I just have to install it on my new monitor, and I haven't done it. So. In my experience, the most time wasted is spent having to start fresh after a server crash. Yeah, that too. That can also, resetting your experience after that event is another big thing. So as CIG improves those experiences, we'll start to see more of what CIG wants to do in terms of time. Me and my buddy did Jump Town in the last time around, and honestly, the prep work is what we wanted to do was just as fun. It was just, it was all but one of us were JT virgins, and yeah. And the excitement was awesome. Yeah, that's kind of what happens. Like, you really, the prep work it can be fun if you know how to do it. But someone's asking about the ship. We have 4-hour sessions. I tend to do 4-hour sessions myself. Do we know if the Vulture will be viable in game 318? No, it will not. It likely will be viable in 319 though, at the earliest. Not with my family and Monopoly. We have 4-hour sessions. That's the upper end of stuff. Monopoly can be, and some of those like Risk and stuff can be longer, 4 or longer hours. The Liberator is probably not going to be done by 4.0. It's not on the list anywhere in terms of being worked on, and there's been no updates for it. So, did I get a sub and I didn't see it? Nomad, thank you for the sub. Oh, you gifted the sub, the Neocoder. Thank you all for that. Oof, yeah, I don't play as much Star Citizen because I feel like I need too much time during the day. Yeah, it's definitely a problem. I tend to not to do it for the same reason. I'll pull up a game of like Kerbal Space Program or RimWorld where I can like pause it halfway through and save it. Paul, when do we get 4-hour bunker raids? Like, wow, I'm so ready. Probably after CIG gets PES working. Any ships you'd like to see released with Pyro? I'd love to see the Liberator, but we're not going to see that. Misk Fury? The Furry, you mean? The Misk Furry? The Fury, well, I have no idea what that is. We'll see eventually. Those cargo containers at UGF got me excited to see a sea at full up with cargo. It's going to be pretty big, yeah. Star Citizen, but if any one of those thousands of people playing hits pause, it's paused until they unpause. Oof, yeah. Hey, Paul, I've heard of this STV. Is this going to be like the ship shop? The Steve is a vehicle. You mean the MCV, Matthew? The mobile construction vehicle? I bet the Misk Furry has paws. Isn't Siege of Orison a 4-hour raid? It's a 2-hour raid. I think you can complete it in an hour, though. I think they mean is the STV going to be viable in game? No, I don't think so. I think it's coming out in 319 as well. Or is it going to be in the ship shop? Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. Speaking of the Miss Furry meme concept, it's just a freelancer but covered in fur except a few select parts. Yes, I've seen that. Yes, the SRV is supposed to come soon. The SRV is was in the roadmap. It's done. The SRV is finished. In fact, I'm going to make a quick change to that. I think it's waiting on the Tractor Tech. It's on the go, no go. Yeah, I'd really love to see Tractor Tech make it in 319. It sounds like from all of the work that I've seen, or all the updates I've seen from the February monthly report, it's like the SRV is done, and they like really are shooting for Tractor Beam Tech to be in 319. Oh, I'm fixing something real quick. My friend keeps buying ships on Star Citizen, and he's 10K in. How do I stop him? Also, hey, he made a captain's table. Tell him that all of the ships he purchased in game, just tell him to stop buying ships. There's no reason to buy ships unless he really wants to support the game. That's it. Because all the ships will be purchasable in game. You can never use more than one ship, anyways. Interesting. So you guys have not seen the old image of the Misk Fury, previously unknown as the Misk Dart. Is that real? I missed the monthly report. Anything interesting? Well, if you missed the monthly report, it's on YouTube right now. In fact, I just posted it on YouTube. I'll get you all a link. Hold on. I finished editing it this morning, so. Here you go. It's about 50 minutes, and if you watch it right now, by the time you get finished, it'll be just about the time for a little bit after we start with the captain's table. So you can watch both at the same time. The Misk Fury used to be named the Misk Dart. I don't remember the Misk Dart though. Dreaming about bending over and hey, look more, look up. Hey, look more spaceships. Yes. You think the first drop of the engineering system will look like? I'm guessing only one or two with relays, but I'm hopeful the ships will have life support and Grav UI. I think because they've delayed the engineering system, or at least it looks like they've delayed it until the end of the year, I'd hope that there will have more relays for more ships. Right now, they're just planning out the tech and seeing how it works. I'd imagine it wouldn't be too difficult once they've started working on it. Yeah. So the answer is, and I've always worried about this, which is we're going to get another light fighter. That's what the Fury at least sounds like. The Elite SRV had me in a barf bag paradise in VR. How you doing, Dig? I haven't gotten back to you about that, but yeah, I'm totally down with doing doing a ship giveaway with you. I know what I think you were talking. I think I get what you were referencing, but isn't Misk an industrial manufacturer? Yes, yes, it is. Listen, the Argo cargo ship. The only thing I'm gonna what did I call it? The Argo. something violence vehicle. Oh, the Argo multi-purpose violence vehicle, or the MPVV. Hey, Jordan, thanks for the $5. Loved your complete history of Star Citizen. Can't wait for everyone else to see it. Yeah, it's out. For those of you who are on Patreon, who have been on Patreon. It's been out on Patreon. It'll be out for everybody else in Wednesday, not next week, but Wednesday the 15th for everybody else. They do have a racing ship, yeah, but even that was considered a kind of a different one. Industrial hacking ship? Well, I doubt it's going to be a destroyer. It's going to be a tank. Question, does MISC do ground vehicles in lore? Not that I know of. They do a lot of content, though. So there's a lot of stuff that MISC does that we don't know about. So. All right. Got any hints on this with the new history what's in this new history video? The one that's coming out? First contact with Tavarin, or the Banu, not Tavarin. The creation of Project Farstar. The... the expansion of humanity. It's called the Conquest of Stars because it's about humanity like reaching the peak of its golden age of exploration and settlement. All right. What's the background music? It sounds good at 1.5 speed. It's Star Citizen. Just calling the crew. Taking bets if he's wearing bottoms. Who Vertigo? Hey, Fastcart.
Hey, you caught me 2 minutes ahead of time. I'm still getting ready.
You're good. Keep getting ready. Question: what will be the top 6 web pages for a new player if you need to visit? There's a information hub. Can't remember the name of it, but it's under the new player hub or something like that. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It's really hard to find. So.
Oh, sorry, hold on.
It's not under the issue council spectrum.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it's really hard to find what?
Remember, there's like a hub, like a starting hub. Like, hey, this is how you play the game, and see how you collected a bunch of stuff that players had done.
The hub, the community hub, or something else?
Hub. It was something else.
I don't recall it something else. I just know about the community hub. I mean, CIG have done so many things that's come and gone. I've forgotten most of the things I've learned.
Yeah, there was,
over the past 10
years. The only reason why I know about it is because CIG. I did an intro to Star Citizen lore, and they put it on this hub with other content creators.
You mean one of the earlier versions of the same idea, but they had different iterations over the years or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know if it's still there. It might be.
Probably not. No, I think everything is on the community hub, the new community hub now. It's going to log in separately to access.
Nope, it's still here. It's Robert Space Industries. It's Robert Space Industries /play.com/play Star Citizen. There are video tutorials on there. You've got Enlist. You've got Captain Burke's new player guide for 3.17.1. Morphologist new player guide to Star Citizen.
What year
Diggs.
is that? When was that put
This
out?
is I don't know when these were.
Okay. AC Vertigo said soon.
Yeah. There's Beginner's Guide to Star Citizen lore is mine's at the very bottom, because it was one of the first ones added. There's Redlayer Flight and Combat Guide, Captain Burke's Beginner's Combat Guide. So there's like a list of tutorials that they curated specifically. So it's not the player hub. It's this link right here. This is one of those ones I would use, but also the hub.
Oh, that old thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know when they put that up. Maybe I can look at the archive and see if it's there.
Welcome everyone from Vertigo Stream. We're setting up, so soon TM. Soon. Yeah, but I figured what we talk about is CIG's kind of movement over from there seems to be focused mostly on things like procedural interiors for buildings, underground facilities, space stations. A lot of the focus seems to be less on flight and more on FPS, or first, like kind of like the walking around doing other things sort of situation. So I figured what we'd be talking about is like talk about that. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is it just a nature? Is it an aberration just because like they're getting this stuff, they just happen to have all this stuff done at the same time? They get back to it.
Well,
so.
I'm letting you know ahead of time. I suck at FPS. That's like the only FPS. My experience with FPS is like Dark Forces from the '90s, because that was a Star Wars game. It's hard to play FPS with one-handed.
Well, but I don't mean just FPS though. I'm talking about like the first-person experience. So like even like repair and like the engineering gameplay, which doesn't deal with like flying the ship, So, and I figured we'll talk about the Titan as well, like because they also mentioned the Titan, which is again an FPS kind of suit.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I'm here.
You are.
Oh no! Run for your lives!
Run for your lives! Run to the hills!
Yes.
Run for your lives!
So yeah, chat. Welcome to the 7 hours Captain's Table podcast.
No, it can't be 7 hours. We don't have Darge here.
God,
we don't have Dodge. We don't have a couple other people. Yeah. Oh, Buster, come on.
All right. So yeah, I was just saying that basically what I was gonna kind of talk about was. What do you think about CIG's sort of shift? They seem to be shifting away from focusing exclusively on spaceflight and more kind of emphasizing the first-person aspect of the game. Exploration,
caves, underground facilities.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Procedural interiors for buildings, that kind of stuff. It's a lot of tech for that sort of thing. So I was just, talk about that. Like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is this just an aberration? Is this just not really? Because like we also know that CIG is still working on the brand new flight systems for
Master
Squadron.
Mode.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I figured. We'll talk a little bit about that and then go into the question and answer stuff. So if you want to use the restroom or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I should probably pull out the. Probably give you the links to the videos.
Yeah, you probably give us a video link. That might help.
That might help. It's actually set up
You don't
properly.
have to. It's your show, so you can do whatever you want. But I'm just, making a suggestion here.
It's a solid
I haven't
suggestion
been a
there.
content creator as long as you have. How is that, imposter? That joke's enough for you?
There you go. We have Fast Cart on. There's going to be jokes. Fast Cart and Vertigo are on. We're gonna get the jokes, and most of them are going to be groan worthy.
And some of them might get you demonetized or banned from Twitch. I mean, you never know.
Well,
we
listen.
do now.
Listen, Uri is my editor now, and he's been pulling out clips. So he will pull out all of the most awkward clips that you can make, all of the worst jokes you make, and will be put as clips for him. I know him enough to know that's going to happen. Any major surge.
So like half the show is what you're saying.
Yes, half the show. Purple Yeti, did Paul leave the title of Card on purpose? Yes, we're still doing setup. That's why. The start actually happens in about 20 minutes.
Oh, we're not gonna start. We're not gonna start early this time, like you've been doing.
We might start early. It really depends on like what y'all are good for, and using the restroom and getting stuff to drink and such. Because we're gonna be here at least.
I got my
2
drink.
hours.
I went to the restroom, so I think I'm okay.
Did you get the camera link there, Vertigo?
Yeah, I got it. I'm just setting it up right now.
Awesome.
Vertigo is slow. That's why my name is Fast Cart. I'm faster than Vertigo.
What is the Soul Citizen schedule? Because I always forget. Is it Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, or is it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday?
It used to be Friday, but no, it's Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. UTC. Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UTC, and Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. UTC. But that's going to change in 2 weeks because, daylight saving time is on March 12th.
Probably. Let's see here.
You mute yourself in the.
Oh, goddamn! Do I have that stupid thing on?
Yes, you do.
There we go. That should be better.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry, it does it by default these days. Let me give you a nice little zoom there.
No, that's not true, Imposter. I work in Eastern and UTC, okay? So, yeah.
All right, I'll be back.
All right. YouTube chat. YouTube chat. I just pulled up I just started the Q&A session, so you just go to the top where it says top chat or live chat, and you want to go down to the question section, and then you want to type your questions in there.
That's too much to do. You gotta simplify that.
I can't simplify it any more than that. Eventually I will. Apparently, there's the tool that was built for the info runners apparently is going to be turned into a bot. And that bot's going to be used for some of us, which will be pretty nice. Because what that does is basically every time you put something in brackets question, it automatically updates, and it works on both YouTube and Twitch. So.
Yeah, we stole your question, your token question from
it's
you.
It's a fantastic thing. I don't mind. It's so nice. It makes it so much more manageable.
Tomorrow is our 3rd anniversary, but we'll talk more about, I guess we'll get into that more during the show, but yeah.
Yeah.
Third anniversary for Soul Citizen. Nice.
I think I was the first guest on Soul Citizens as well.
One of the first, yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah. And we've had you on quite a few times.
Oh, and did Pops or Fist tell you that Fist scored the last complete history?
Yeah, we were watching you live during, what was it, Thursday, Friday? One early in the week you did a preview before Patreon, but yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, it's solid. It's good.
And thank you for employing them because they need to work, whatever they can get. They're not here to hear me say that. Matter of fact, let me just send them. Are you going to tweet real soon?
Yes, I'll tweet here in a moment.
Man, you type fast.
Yes, I also am very
Do you
loud.
have
I've got a very clicky-clacky keyboard.
Do you have an NVIDIA broadcast too?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you use NVIDIA broadcast, it might tune that out.
It could tune out a little bit. My plan is to get, there's a tool that someone turned me on to. I think it was Mike who turned me on to it, which was, it's basically the people who did the software for the one soundboard that every streamer uses. I can't remember the name of it. They left and made their own company. Not Elgato. It was the other one that everyone used. They left and made their own company, and they basically made what is effectively a Stream Deck that you plug into your computer, and then it works like an audio mixing board. Go XLR, yeah. The people who made the software for Go XLR.
Okay, I heard of them, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they made their own company called Scepter or something like that. Let me look it up.
I don't know if you're set up yet, but I would appreciate if you can show your stream in Discord so I won't talk over people as much.
I will do that. I'm not set up fully yet, so what you'll see is what chat sees. There you go.
There you go. Thank you. There we go.
It's called Beacon. BEACN. Beacon does they do mics and stuff like that, but they also do it's called the Mix Create, and it is fantastic looking. It effectively allows you to have all the control of the voice meter stuff, but on a kind of a more hard format, so more like solid surface, while also having digital controls over volume and all those sorts of things. So it gives you a bunch of different stuff, and it's a little bit easier. Yeah, the Mix Create, Piss Poor Pete. Mike's been like, do it, and I look at him like, I might do that because it's perfect for my setup that I have now.
Cool. Yeah, I use NVIDIA Broadcast because it blocked out my computer noise and my phone noise. So yeah.
Yeah, Piss Poor Pete says he has it as well. It separates all your audio, and I have one that's super dope. Yeah, it's great because it'll actually separate the audio out into different channels. So.
Yeah, the only problem with the software is that it does introduce lag, but I think it's worth it for me anyway.
Yeah, it introduces a little bit of lag. That one. The other thing is that if you have any kind of voice changer, it screws with the voiceover voiceover. Because I know Meyer and Myth both had that, and whenever they turned on their voice changers, it would just like the broadcast would go crazy. So.
Yeah, I made a huge mistake when I first built my newer computer. I built it in 2022, last year. I guess it was last year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I built a new computer last year, and I put over all my software and everything, and I put over voice attack because I wanted to play. I use voice attack for fly my script in Star Citizen. The mistake I made was I had it ported through the noise cancellation. So whenever I say something, voice chat was not picking up what I was saying, and it took me forever to figure. I've been trying to figure out why it wasn't working for like 2 days. And then I figured out it was because of the noise cancellation. I'm like, dang, so I already have a profile of me, and I had to redo the profile, so I just hadn't gotten back and redid it yet.
Yeah, I was doing two things at once, and my brain's trying to process everything. That's always the issue. Like I'm also like, I got like, this mic is good, it's solid, but I've always like, do I need to get a mixer and all that kind of stuff because there's so much noise in the background. Not because there's so much noise in the background, you can barely hear it, but the mic can. The mic can hear it all. So it's like, I need to have a good mic, but I don't want something that's super sensitive in terms of, and all of the mics that are more like directional rather than omnidirectional are all like XLR mics. So
Yeah, I've been tempted over the years to get a regular table mic, like most streamers have, but I move around too much and I don't keep still, so it would just be awkward. The headset is best for me. And I'm using the same headset that Jared used on his show. And you know what? I was tempted to get a refund because I don't sound anything like Jared.
Sadly, it's not a Jared simulator. It's also the same thing that Tyler uses.
Hmm.
So, all right. Something smells like garlic bread, and I'm gonna go check it out because I think my wife's having food, and I want to make sure it's not like other thing else. I'll be right back, Fastcard. Entertain the chat.
No problem. Entertain the... Oh, no, chat. He gave me the power. Y'all are in trouble now. Let me retweet this thing real quick before I entertain you more. But, hey, chat, what's going on? I see Major Surge FPS. Have you heard? A third beast coming in the mail. No, I don't think so. Joke. There you go. T, how you doing? How are you doing? A little bit of madness. Go Estelar. Thank you for that. It was a Kingston. Oh, they're talking about Ram. Oh, okay. Time for bad jokes. You put me on the spot. I'm not sure. I'm trying not to get the Paul banned again. Well, maybe I could get him banned since he's not here. It's his fault for not meeting me, right? Get him in trouble while he's not here. Should I do it? Chat, should I do it? It's in your hand.
It's in your hands.
He's back. How are you doing?
Yep. I'm glad I was able to come back just in time to stop you from making a huge mistake.
Is it a mistake, though? Really? Is it a mistake? Yeah, I don't know if you heard of Paul Shelley, but she's stepping away real quick. He will be back in a moment.
Okay. That's fine.
Oh, yeah. Simpasta wants to know, did you put on pants?
Yes, I am wearing pants.
But you know, this
That's
is the
what
thing,
my suspenders are attached to.
This is the thing. So in the UK, pants are underwear. So I don't know if that's a personal question or
Normally, I just attach my
suspenders. They call them trousers.
Yeah, trousers. Normally, I just attach my suspenders to my my ass hair and my pubes. That's what's holding my suspenders on.
See, you see, Paul. He's not here. I don't know. Hopefully, he can hear me. It was HD Vertical. He said that just now, not me. He's the one getting in trouble. And it's not even. We haven't even started yet, and you're already going.
Yeah, we're starting now. Whether you like it or not.
How was your show? Your stream?
Well, it was pretty good. We played on the PT all day. Didn't crash out, didn't 30K. Had a huge amount of hiccups on the stress test, though. So,
yeah. What number were you in the queue? Did you have a queue when you went in?
No, I was waiting for entitlement. I started like 8 a.m. by time, so I didn't log in for the stress test. The stress test just happened on the server I was on.
Oh, okay. No coffee gaming. No.
Cam was eating good food, so that's why I was.
Oh.
I just want to make
sure when you get a chance.
Will do. Let's see. All right. So I figure what we'll do is we'll do introductions, then we'll go ask the questions, kind of like, why do you think CIG is putting so much emphasis on things like the UGF, the procedural building interiors, stations, and so on? What do you think the focus is of this? Do you think it's because of missions? Is it because of like a change in focus away from space combat or space gameplay? And then we'll go from there to, is this systemic? Is this something that CIG is trying to do to try to like steer Star Citizen away from being known as just a space game? Is this more of just a result of they need to fill out gameplay for the areas that they have, so on and so forth? And then we'll go on to is this a good thing? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? And then we'll kind of wrap up there.
And Paul,
what's up?
And Paul, I could save you 2 hours right now just by saying yes to everything you said. So,
yes, I know you could.
Don't need to do the show.
But that's really why people watch the show, Fast Card, because they want us to hear say something more than yes. All right.
Fine, I will try to elaborate.
All right, we'll get started here a little early then. A few minutes, you're good to go. Everyone good to go?
Yep.
All right. So 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub, and your facilitator here at the Captain's Table. What is the Captain's Table, we might ask? Well, this is a podcast. This is a podcast talk show thing where we talk about Star Citizen. I bring people from all over the Star Citizen universe to discuss their views on various different topics. And before we get into the topic today, let's get started with the Sultan of Salt himself, the Stanton Sultan of Salt. Mr. H.C. Vertigo.
Salt.
Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen? And where can they find you?
Well, I'm H.C. Vertigo. I am basically a Star Citizen content creator, occasionally variety streamer. I do a lot of different things in Star Citizen. I like playing the field essentially. Do a little bit of mining, cargo hauling, a lot of FPS gameplay, a lot of marine stuff. Battlefield is one of my favorite games, so I play a lot of that in Star Citizen. You can find me over on YouTube, HC Vertigo on YouTube, Twitch, HC Vertigo on Twitch, HC Vertigo on Twitter, however long Twitter is going to stick around for. Thanks, Elon.
Yeah. To be careful, you make that joke and you make that comment, and we'll have a bunch of people be like, "What's wrong with Elon?" in the comments, because every time we've done that, it's happened. Someone's come in the comments with a smart guy and asked the question.
I mean, we'll just have more engagement for the video then. Jeez.
That's true. That's true. I mean, Thank you. Please ask more questions.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
What's wrong with Elon? Do you want me to get my list out or something? Hold on,
I got a list.
Let me get my flipping list here out. Yeah, look at this.
Yeah. I have a question. So why do round earthers think the Earth is round? Because everyone knows the Earth is flat after all.
All right. So where can they find you, generally speaking, HC Vertigo?
Well, you can find me on YouTube at HC Vertigo, Twitch at HC Vertigo, Twitter HC Vertigo, HC Vertigo all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And you're live usually every day, right? Or you take Mondays and Sundays off?
Yes, every day. Was it Tuesdays and Wednesdays I take
Tuesdays
off.
and Wednesdays.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then we've got Black Jurassic himself, the official ambassador, one of the official ambassadors to Star Citizen. It's if I say it longer, maybe it'll actually be true one of these days. Because CIG did say it once that the Fast Card is one of the official ambassadors. You and Captain Richard were the official ambassadors for Star Citizen.
Long time ago. And they never said it again. Mr.
Fast Card, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
Hello, everyone. I'm Fastcard, also known as FC or Fastcard FC, because we just shortened it to the initials. I am part of Soul Citizens. That is weekly, but we have more than one show. We have a show on Thursday, Saturdays, and Sunday. And in fact, tomorrow we're having a show for our 3rd anniversary special. So tune in tomorrow on Sunday, 8 p.m. for our anniversary special. But yes, I'm Fastcard. I'm on Twitter, fast_card. And basically, that's mostly where I'm supposed to do social media. But other than that, Soul Citizen, with an S on the end. You can find us everywhere.
Nice. Soul Citizen's 3 years. It's weird. I feel it feels like it just started 3 years.
Yeah,
it's been 3 years.
We have nothing on you. When you started 2015,
2015,
like that.
2015. When the dogfight modules
man.
happened. Yeah, it's been a long time. I've been a partner for like 7 or 6 years.
Right. So we got nothing on you. You're one of the OG. Well, we had some people who started before you, but they come and gone. You have staying power. You're still around.
I just am too stubborn to die, is what it is.
but I do want to make a comment to chat. So we're gonna have a drinking game. Whenever I make Paul cringe, drink. Whenever HC Vertigo talked over me, drink.
You're just trying to get chat drunk and or go to the hospital, aren't you? All right.
I take no responsibility for that.
For those of you who don't know, Fastcard is also a moderator. He's a moderator in my chat, but he's also a moderator in a lot of other places. You still help out with the People's Radio as well? Or is it just...
Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I am a DJ on People's Radio. That's the third Friday of every month at 2100 UTC or 4 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. When daylight saving hit. But yeah, I play R&B and soul and stuff like that on People's Radio.
Yeah, it's a good place. I've been talking with them about, because they wanted to say, so they reached out and said, hey, do you want to do your advertisements for your for like the Captain's Table or for your Astro Historian stuff on the People's Radio? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And I keep forgetting to do it, but it's a great source. So if you like that sort of thing. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's get into the topic today, because there is something that I noticed in the monthly reports and a lot of other things. Is just CIG has these trends that they happen. Sometimes they're by accident, sometimes they're on purpose. But it seems like we've had a lot of trending recently of CIG working on the first person side of the game. And I don't mean first person perspective or shooters. I mean like when you're not in a ship, when you're not piloting a ship. Because for the longest time up to now, CIG has been focusing heavily on ensuring that the experience of piloting the ship is something, is good, is bad, or whatever. Hopefully not focusing on it being bad. But that was been the main point of the gameplay. The concept was you're in your ship, you're flying your ships, you get out of your ship to do stuff, but your ship is your main modes of transportation. It's the main mode of gameplay. It's why we have ships that are designed for very specific roles. Now, we've saw things like procedural generation of interiors for buildings. We've seen an update on the underground facilities, the UGFs. We have things like the release of the Titan suit, mentioning in Squadron 42 monthly report. New missions, heavily involved, like investigation missions and then bounty hunting, stuff that generally speaking, ships might be involved, but they're part of the whole. And it's mostly just being outside of your ship and doing other things. So I'll start with you on this one, Fastcart. Do you think this is actually a trend, or is this just happens to be a kind of a random thing? Do you think CIG is actually focusing on more of the kind of first-person walk-around experience?
I think they're trying to focus more on getting Squadron 42 done, and it's happened to fit into the category of getting more first-person experience into the game. Like you mentioned, we were talking about this past, or was it this past ISC? Oh, yeah, they talk about the bunkers and under Lorville. So I'm not sure if that's going to be in Squadron 42. I'm guessing it is because they're having such a priority on it. But that's my feeling about it. I think they're focusing on getting Squadron 42 out the door, and they want to make it a good experience, and FPS is a big part of that experience, because you won't be in the ship do the whole game.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Okay. Vertigo, your thoughts? Do you think this is actually a thing that's happening? That's something CIG is focusing on?
Yeah, I think it is. You have to let me clear my mouth here a little bit. I'm eating some crackers for a snack here.
It's all right.
Twitch, don't ban me. I'm literally eating Ritz crackers, okay?
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, because if it was the other kind, that's a word I can't say. I can't say the C word.
I know.
And basically, and also, Vertigo, you want to say it with an A, because the ER is offensive.
Cracker.
Yeah.
Eating my crackers.
So yeah, like I think CIG's been on this FPS push for a while now, ever since Siege of Orison. Because Siege of Orison, big first-person shooter event. And then, of course, we had the Security Post Karaya rework coming up in 3.18, which there's a lot of stuff going inside of Security Post Karaya, like missions and whatnot. Derelict Outposts, and the new Derelict Outpost we got going out, the new rec sites that CIG's putting in. So I think we're seeing a lot, CIG, the fruits of planetary tech starting to, like, be born. We've seen a lot of that recently with like missions and whatnot. CIG putting more effort, because I remember a time when we almost never got any new missions. Mm-hmm. Just before the 890 jump mission was added. In fact, back when Luke Presley, I believe, was still working for CIG. I think he's over at Ubisoft now.
No, he still works for CIG. Luke is the head. It was somebody else. It was Jerry. It's Jerry who built that.
Yeah.
It was,
I thought Luke Presley moved on. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
No.
Back when the 890 jump mission was first in, we almost never got new missions. But nowadays, like every patch, brings up something new. But we also got like the racing stuff coming up and Arena Commander improvements too. But there's definitely a big push for more on foot stuff coming up with like the new underground facilities. So I think this is definitely a pattern, Paul. You're right that CIG is definitely focusing on trying to get people out of ships into things so that they can, have that kind of like nice little kind of ship. Also salvaging and whatnot. We'll probably see more like internal salvaging, handheld repair and whatnot. But yeah, I think we'll definitely see more stuff like this in the future. GIG is going to leverage that aspect of Star Citizen.
Cube said Paul Jones moved on to
Ubisoft. Paul Jones. So I got Luke Presley and Paul Jones mixed up. Sorry.
Yeah, I was thinking about Paul Jones, but he's the one that wrote the book, and I know he left CIG, but I wasn't sure if he went to Ubisoft, so I didn't say anything.
I think I vaguely remember a tweet from him like a while ago that Paul Jones, he moved over to Ubisoft, I believe. I have to go check his Twitter.
Okay. Now, so let me follow this up there. Is this a good thing? With things like the EVA system not in, the systems for like parkour systems, that they're more, I call it parkour systems, but the new movement system, the new flight modes, like even things like atmospheric flap usage and the new master modes stuff with like quantum boost and such. Is this a good sign that CIG is focusing on some of this other stuff before we see these other things in game? Those are the things I mentioned. I'll start with you on that, Vertigo.
Like anything that moves the needle is always good, in my opinion. With Star Citizen, any sort of evolution or refinement is always good. More content. How can you say no to more content? Even if you don't even like the content, just more stuff is good for the community. I'm complaining about like the new delivery missions that are just kind of like they don't pay enough. They take you all over the place, and I'm like, still, even though I don't like doing them, even though they're not my speed, there's still people out there who want Star Citizen content that takes them around the verse, gives them something to do just a little bit. You go see those derelict outposts. You go see those wreck sites. You go drop off some packages at an outpost you've never visited before, and you see a nice little sunset as you come out, and it's like, hey, that's a cool scene. There's some people out there who love that sort of stuff. So, I mean, just because a mission is added to Star Citizen that's not to my speed or my pace doesn't mean someone out there is not going to enjoy it.
Okay. Fastcart, same question to you. Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, I see where you're still basically what I was going to say. I think anything that makes it that it lets CIG gets ahead of the basically anything that moves the development along, get it closer to a 2042 release date, get it closer to a Star Citizen release date. But I will say they can stop developing new ugly sweaters. That's the one thing I loathe in the game. No more new ugly sweaters, please. Just stop selling them, take them out the market. No more new ugly sweaters. That's all I ask.
All right, let's move on to the other question I was gonna blank on. What would you like CIG to, or what kind of gameplay? We've talked about the missions and stuff like that. What kind of gameplay do you think will kind of evolve from the stuff that we're seeing coming in? So like UGFs and new bunker, or the new bunkers, the procedural inside of buildings, the new cities that are coming out, like Loreville and such. What do you think we're going to see? What would you like to see in terms of gameplay come out from this? Start with you, Fastcart.
I would like to see eventually Terra and Soul be put into the universe. I know it's probably going to be one of the last things. That is one of the more important things. Probably would be one of the first things players will see when they get into Star Citizen, and that's my guess. So I think they wanted to make that last, so it'll be one of the best things that they can put into the game. Maybe we'll see Theaters of War eventually come to the game.
Yes,
Theaters of War.
Join my crazy idea that Theaters of War is coming out this year.
I don't know if it's coming out this year. I didn't say that. But eventually. And also, I'm hoping for more dynamic events too. So,
okay. Yeah, more dynamic events.
We have Nine Tails, Xenothreat. What's the other one?
Siege of
Xeno
Orison,
Threat, Nine
Siege of
Tails,
Orison.
Lockdown,
And
Jump
Jumptown.
Town, Siege of
Lockdown,
Orison.
yeah.
Those are like the 4 we have
So,
right now.
so I know we have 4, but that's the idea. They can come up with like at least 10 dynamic events. I'm looking forward to those.
Let me ask you a follow-up question for though. Do you think this emphasis on things like procedural interiors and UGFs, do you think that is also intended for dynamic events? Do you think that some of this stuff is being added because they want to add more dynamic events with this tech?
Yeah, I think it is. If they could figure out
possible.
how to get like a dungeon built procedurally, they could have a whole bunch of stuff just happen in that dungeon.
What do you think, Festcart?
Yeah, I think it potentially. I can't say for certain, obviously, but yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing Terror and Soul in the game eventually, because that's my thing. Terror first.
Yeah,
I'm
probably
one of
Terra's
those.
first. But yeah. Oh, the Terror. I know what you're talking about. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Vertigo. Same question.
Politically.
Yeah.
Terror fan, yeah.
HC Vertigo. What are your thoughts on this? Is like what kind of gameplay do you think they're going to be coming out with this? What sort of things do you foresee them kind of bringing forward with this new?
I mean, you could almost do instance dungeons if you're doing like procedurally generated stuff and you're doing like server meshing. You can almost just slide a dungeon into its own instance and just have like this space station, this derelict space station out in the middle of nowhere. Only 5 people can go in at one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a set amount of like you have to go do some stuff in there, hack a terminal or something, and it opens up like a loot box, like a treasure chest or something. Basically, like just any other MMO where you have like a dungeon you go into, a raid essentially, with a certain number of people can go in, and you just have a password, you enter a wormhole or something that only you have the ability to enter, and your team goes in. You have a space station inside at the other end of that wormhole that only you have access to, and then you do the mission, you come back out. So they could essentially do that if you have like really good procedural generation technology. And I've been playing a game that has it. It's called Ziggurat 2, which is basically just a first-person roguelike where they use procedural generation to build like a rooms and whatnot that you fight through. After a while, everything kind of starts looking the same, but you get kind of like No Man's Sky has the same problem.
I'm going to push back a little bit because I don't see CIG limiting it to 5 people because I think they want more.
That was just a number I pulled out of my butt. Like it could be.
No.
I
don't see them doing like getting instant dungeons or anything like that. I think anyone can enter at any time because that'll encourage PvP. Because
I have to disagree. There is a very loud portion of the community, at least on Reddit and Spectrum, that want more PvE gameplay. And one way you can actually give people that is instance dungeon, where only their group can get in, no other players can access.
And I'm not saying that I don't want it. I would want it in Star Citizen. I just don't think that's something that Chris Roberts is. That's not really what we've seen so far. We haven't seen it.
There's what Chris Roberts wants, and then there's what the community wants. And honestly, PvE gameplay sells for MMOs. Like pure PvP MMOs don't do very well. Like they're very niche in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure there's people who are going to watch this, and Paul, you're going to have some like very. Like Vertigo, whatever. Dark Age of Camelot was one of the best MMOs ever.
Get rid of those Care Bears.
Yeah, but generally speaking, the MMOs that usually do the best are MMOs that focused on PvE gameplay, player versus enemy. And people like try to like define like Star Citizen as a PvP MMO. No, it's an MMO with PvP in it.
I stole that.
Not the sole focused.
I've stole that word from you. I've stole that as an MMO with PvP in it. I stole that when you first heard it. I just said, I was like, that's brilliant. That's what I'm going to use from now on. It's
not a true PvP MMO is like PlanetSide 2. All the content is generated by player-on-player interaction, and it's usually hostile interactions. That's usually the expectation.
To give you an example, like Star Wars Squadron, that was PvP only, and I was looking forward to that game. But then as soon as I heard it was PvP only and not a campaign, single player,
there was a campaign in Squadrons.
There is a campaign.
It was really short.
It's really short. It's only a couple of hours.
Kind of like, I guess, Left 4 Dead, where it has like little segments you play, but less than that, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was just looking forward to Star Wars Squadron, but as soon as I heard that, I gave it a pass because I want something. I want to relive the X-wing or TIE Fighter from the '90s. That experience. So hopefully we'll get more of that in Star Citizen and Squadron 42.
Yeah. So I think CIG can they can use this procedurally generated technology to like create little instance dungeons for like PvE experiences, kind of like little bite-size. Just
small.
No other players can get in, but your team that you trust. But those players can still probably like have friendly fire or something on, so it won't be 100% PVE. It'll just like if someone accidentally shoots you in the back, or if you have a traitor in your midst, suddenly you're playing Among Us.
Like I said,
Who's the traitor?
I'm hoping you're right, Vertigo, but I don't see them. I don't see Chris Roberts or CIG doing it that way. But we'll see.
Can maybe in a couple of years. It may not happen immediately, but they will eventually have to bend the knee to the PvE community. I think because the PvP community will not carry Star Citizen in my mind. Like there's a bold, controversial statement.
Yeah,
you're gonna get some comments on this video, Paul. After you say that, I guarantee you.
Let's move on to the next question about kind of similar stuff. We'll talk about combat and specifically FPS combat because the Titan is being worked on. We know for Squadron 42. For those of you who don't know, the Titan suit is basically a powered armored suit. It's about 9 feet tall. You kind of get in, you control it like a vehicle, but it's a suit.
I can get some images for you if you want.
Oh, I have the images. It's hard to put.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I can put them up on my screen, but like I'll try to do some.
Send me those images, Fast Cart. I want to see your Titan suit. Show me your Titan.
God.
After the show.
Can't not
no, wait.
Folks.
Give me your phone number. I'll text them to you.
I showed you.
On my Instagram.
It's Fast Cart saying I showed you my Titan suit. Please respond. But speaking of that kind of stuff, do you think CIG is going to be this year? Are we going to see them start to produce more ground vehicles? Do you think we'll start to see more ground vehicles for Star Citizen in 2023? Start with you on this one, Vertigo.
I mean, yeah.
The question being not being like, will we see? Obviously, we're going to see more ground vehicles, but do you think we'll see?
I mean, obviously, we're going to see more stuff. Just period. Like they have bills to pay, so every year we're going to see a certain number of concept cells.
But think about.
I mean, the real question, Paul, will we ever see the X1 hover bike in Star Citizen?
You stole my answer.
They had an option with the 400i to produce the X1 hover bike, but instead, CIG decided to produce the absolutely abysmal quality hover quad from Consolidated Outland. That thing is just an ugly pile of crap compared to the X1. And I don't know how CIG got in their mind that they should produce that ugly pile of crap over the X1 and not release it with the 400i at the same time. CIG, I'm dying over here.
They missed an opportunity, that's for sure.
They missed an opportunity.
I will say it is my. Like, I'm willing to forgive a lot of reasons why some ships are in concept. There's some logical reasons why we're not going to get some ships that are in concept, especially the bigger ships. There's no gameplay for them. They just would require too many people that they couldn't put into the servers right now. There's no, those sorts of things make sense. It's like, I'd love to see those ships in, but I understand why CIG isn't working on them when they can work on other things. But then you have ships like the X1, and you're like, Why? Why?
The thing's like tiny. It's like the size of a dragonfly. Like, what's holding that up? Like, you have the entire Origin lineup from like single seat fighter to like massive super yacht. Like, you don't have enough art to draw from to like make the X1 a thing.
And as chat's saying, and because someone's going to say it in chat in the comments.
I was about to say that.
Go ahead, Fast.
Yeah, a few ISCs ago, they Star Citizen Live, one of the shows, but they brought up that the X1 is entering production. So yeah, we may see it
check
soon.
The progress tracker. It's been in. Oh my God, no.
73 weeks.
No, but I'm talking about like this was recent according to the developers on the show. So yeah.
If you look at the progress tracker, they actually finally did add some people to build that ship.
Yeah,
but. It's the fact that you look at the progress tracker and it was put on the progress tracker like 2 years ago and nothing was done
Q1.
until this year, and it's like in like June is when it's supposed to be finished.
And like we have
and
to like
explain
how the progress tracker works a little bit. Like if CIG puts something on the progress tracker and there's actively nobody working on it, they don't take it off the progress tracker. So you literally just have something sitting there just getting more time on the progress tracker. So that's why it says 73 weeks.
Because they put somebody on there for concept, and then they just took them off.
And they took them off, and they don't take it off the progress tracker. So it's just just sits there on the progress tracker with no one working on it, and it just keeps going on and on and on. Because it makes it look like people are. Why are you spending 73 weeks working on one simple thing? Nobody's working on it. Someone worked on the concept, and they just stopped working on it, but they never took it off the progress tracker.
And it's not like they have 800 employees at CIG. Oh wait, they do.
I know, right? 800 employees building starships. But yeah, I think we'll get more ground vehicles. I mean, there's plenty of other places for people for other ground vehicles in the game. You know, like people want like ground-based ambulances and whatnot, like a Ursa Rover variant. More cargo moving vehicles similar to the Mule. Bigger ones for like like just stuff moving around like yards of Hurston and whatnot. Fueling vehicles for like larger spaceports and whatnot. There's always more room for more vehicles, hover bikes, hover tanks, alien vehicles. I mean, this is something I threw out a long time ago as a conspiracy theory that I think could potentially happen. Is for every human ship we have, right? For every human ship we have, every human ship manufacturer, there should be, in theory, an alien equivalent that CIG can dip into to make even more money.
But which aliens? There's like 4 aliens.
Yeah, there's 4 alien
we have
species.
the Xeon. We have the Nox already, so yeah, that's one.
Well, not just ground vehicles, but like spaceships, right? Yeah. Like you're going to have like a Vandal tank, right? Vandal equivalent of the Nova tank. You're going to have a Vandal equivalent of the Centurion, of the Atlas chassis, essentially. It's all variants. You have a ground transport for troops, an anti-air vehicle of some kind. Maybe a cargo moving Vandal ship, Vandal vehicle. Same with the Banu, same with the Jean, same with the Terravon, same the Kurthak. They could just pull another alien race out of their butts and suddenly just, oh look, here's even more ground vehicles we're producing.
Oh, you know what? Also, they can move from making a single player FPS type game and make it into an RTS like Star shoot. I can't think of the name. Not Warcraft, but Starcraft.
Like Deserts of Karak or Homeworld.
Right.
Like that. Excuse me.
No, but you talk about the X1. They do have other vehicles in the pipeline too. It's not in current, the D12, and I was going to say the Tumble Ranger. I'm looking forward to that because I want to relive my Akira moment from the movie in game.
Preach it. I love that. That's. I mean, I'm even willing to like bend a little bit with the Ranger because the Ranger they've never built an actual motorbike, so I can.
Yeah, 2-wheeled vehicles.
I mean, it's basically a 2-wheeled version of the Tumble Cyclone, right?
It is. Yeah, so, in theory, and you're right.
How hard can it be, right?
You say that.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's on the to-do list, but CIG just has bigger fish to fry. Like producing a 2-wheeled vehicle, like we could probably whip that out in like a weekend or something. But as one of the developers said I think it was on a live broadcast, like steering a large corporation is like steering an oil tanker, a fully loaded oil tanker. It takes a while to make a turn, so you got to make sure everybody's going in the same direction. And if you're going to change direction, you got to plan your curve well in advance so that you have enough space to do it.
That you don't hit an iceberg
iceberg or something. The whole Titanic metaphor there. But yeah, it's just like everybody, like from the top down, everybody's given a directive, and you're going to work on this. And if you work on something else, like you're going to be working for another company. Like that's generally how it works. Like you do what you're told. I'm sure there's CIG developers who are like, yeah, we should be working on the X1 now, or the Ranger 2-wheeled vehicle. It's just nobody's let them do it. They got other stuff to do right now.
I mean, they have other important stuff like putting rivers in the game, you know.
Well, yeah, the guys doing the rivers, the guys and gals doing the rivers and the lighting and whatnot. They're not building the vehicles. They're not putting weapons
That's
on.
True.
So completely different discipline.
I mean, Jared made a joke, and I'm going to butcher it, but it's like if you have 9 pregnant women at the same time, you don't produce one baby in 1 month. It still takes 9 months for
That's
each.
not how
for
producing
each one.
babies works. Yeah.
So it's similar for game development, right? The more people you put on it, they not necessarily make it faster because they have different disciplines, different specialties.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have the right person for the job and the right person for the job.
Why is it got to be a white person? It could be a black person for the job too.
Fergal, I hate you.
It could be any ethnicity. Okay,
I hate you.
Any ethnicity.
I hate you. All right, Fast Guard. Your thoughts in general.
Verticals can say that. I can't. Go ahead, Paul.
Same question for you. Do you think this is going to be the year of like vehicles? Like, where are we going to see more vehicles that are actually purposeful in the verse, like that actually have a purpose that can serve gameplay that will add things? Because up to now we've had tanks and stuff, but we've mostly had combat vehicles, and some of them have been good, some of them have been are just like bikes or that kind of thing. Are we going to see things like refuelers, repairers, ambulances, those sorts of things? Are we going to start to see ground gameplay actually start to matter more than just being a kind of a sideshow when it comes to vehicles?
I'm hoping that we'll see more alien vehicles, like vertical speaking. Like I would love to see a banding vehicle in the game. But as far as other useful vehicles, I'm not sure. Probably. I mean, they do have a bunch of stuff on the roadmap that says like new vehicle or new ship that hasn't been announced yet. So those could be vehicles, but I'm not really sure. But I'm hoping that we'll see the vehicles that have been announced come to fruition, more so the new concept. But we'll probably see new concepts too.
Okay. This is the last question before we move on to the question and answer session. I'll start with you in this one, Fast Card. If you had the chance to bend the ear of CIG and ask and get them to acquiesce to your one request when it comes to non-ship gameplay outside of ships, what would you love to see them focus on for this year? What would you like to see this year in terms of gameplay?
It's not going to happen. I would love to see them focus on science and research, because I want to see the Endeavor come to fruition. But I know that's going to be the last. Everyone keeps saying it's going to be one of the last ships to be Star Citizen. But yes, sooner rather than later, what I prefer. But I know it's going to be later. So science and research, stuff like that.
Crafting.
I
want to see some more sandbox stuff.
Okay.
Being able to craft many pens and whatnot, like using stuff you find out, like the dangerous roots, that stuff. Use those crystals you find in caves for like making special ammunition or batteries for like your energy weapons or something, or fuel for your EVA suit. Who knows?
Okay,
but it was nice that we got the ability to make like some of the tools for like the on the 318 PT. We have the ability to make multi tools using the scrap Vulture stations.
Yeah,
the Vulture. I think the Reclaimer has the same as well.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh. All right.
So I have a question real quick. So we mentioned the Titan suit. Do you think that's going to be in the game soon, or do you think it's something for Squad 42 that's going to be a long time in coming, or when do you think we'll see that?
I think we'll see it on. I think we'll see a concept sale on it on the web store before we see it in game.
Okay.
And maybe like the Idris, where we don't see it until like Squadron 42, but they'll probably sell it on the web store.
How much do you think a Titan suit would cost? $50, $60, $40?
Yeah, $100.
Really?
Yeah, easy. Because it's effectively a small ship, so but a ground vehicle. So I think the cheapest it'll be is $70, because you're going to be able to carry a size 1. What's the cost of the TR? The Cyclone TR? Does anyone know?
The terrorist edition of the Cyclone. I have to look it up. I think it was like close to $60.
I think that's
because the base Cyclone was like 50, I believe. 50
Because
US.
I was gonna I said earlier that I would pay $100 or $120 for a Titan suit, but I would use side credit for it. But
Yeah,
I think it's going
CIG
to be
knows
closest.
knows who they got work. Who CIG knows who their fan base is, so they know they can charge us.
Yeah, but I'm guessing it'll be closer to $50 or $60. That's my guess for Titan suit.
I actually don't think we'll see the Titan suits in Star Citizen. I think we will see them in Star Citizen, but we won't be able to use them. I think we'll be able to see them. I think because
say that.
I think I do think eventually we'll be able to use them, but I think just like the Idris, what we'll see is they'll get it done. They'll get it working in Squadron 42, and then they'll use it as like a big bad, like a boss battle in like a dungeon or.
I can see that because right now they just have NPCs for like the boss fights. For like the hero NPCs that you kill at the end of certain missions, they just have like 10 times the health for no reason, and they look just like all the other NPCs. They'll have heavy armor that everyone else is wearing, same LMG. They walk out, you shoot them like you empty an entire magazine into them, and they're still standing. And it's just like, is this a bug? Like, no, they just have more health.
I think those NPCs will be swapped out with things like NPCs in Titan suits when that's what happens, because that's a perfect like boss battle right there. Got to take on a giant mech, that's straight out of Metal Gear Solid.
And then give us the ability to steal the Titan suit from them.
Yeah, well,
so we can use it.
I don't think that'll happen. I think you'll have to blow it up to kill them, and then it'll be destroyed and that kind of stuff. But I think
it'll self-destruct when you kill them.
Yeah. There'll be some just like the Idris. There'll be some enterprising players who'll figure out how to glitch it so they can take over the Titan suit, kill the guy inside, take over the Titan suit, and run around with it. So,
and then CIG will fix that. So that's only going to be like one patch until This is why we can't have nice things.
Can't have nice things. All right. Well, I think that's our discussion section. For those of you who are watching this after the fact, I think I'm going to put this up on YouTube as the discussion section. But if you want to watch the Q&A, the stream that we did of this entire thing, the setup, everything else, that will be available as well. And that's where you can go watch the Q&A. And I'll put that link right above Fastcar's head. Make sure you're checking out Fastcart and HC Vertigo. Make sure you check out Soul Citizens and HC Vertigo. Twitch.tv/HC Vertigo for your content. And of course, join us live on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'd love to have you come in by. And if you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and of course, the little bell icon, which is the real subscribe button. You hit that and you'll get notifications of when we go live and other things like that. So, like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. All right, chat. We'll be right back. I'm going to use the restroom, where we can move and rolling right on into the Q&A session. So y'all need to use the restroom, grab something to drink. Mm-hmm. What if I see you in the blue, Paul? Yeah. Pretty solid.
I'm still here, chat. I won't desert you. I'm never going to give you up. When was the last time you had a good Rickroll? Tell me, chat. Let me know.
When was the last time you had a good Rick?
Can we get a song? I don't know. Check baby, 1, 2, 3, 4. Check baby, 1, 2, 3. Check baby, 1, 2. Check baby, 1. Hit the rump taker. You know the rest. All I want to do is zoom, 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 and then boom, boom.
Oh my God! How about Pump Up the Jams by Tectonic? What? Can you sing that for me?
Say it again.
Pump Up the Jams by Tectonic. Can you sing that for me?
Pump up the jam. Pump it up. Get your body pumping.
Oh my God, he can! I just pulled that song out of my ass. I didn't know he could actually do it.
I played that song at the Meme Zone on my show a few months back. God. So yeah, like on particular shows. Like I'll probably do one for April because it's April Fool's Day. But I have a meme zone where I play stuff like Hinton, Bop, and Disco Duck, like meme songs that were memes, but people didn't know they were memes, stuff like that. So yeah, I do that. I do that every so often on my show. The Macarena, that's a good one. Like the South Park version of Poker Face. Everybody dance now. Bum, 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 bum.
All right.
Bum, bum. Everybody dance now. Paul just came back to the end of my singing.
Chat. It's just that part of the YouTube's done. Now we're going to move into the rest of this stuff. All right. Y'all good to go?
Yep.
Is Vertigo still here?
Yeah, I'm still
I don't know.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Let's head up. Again, y'all, welcome back to the question and answer session. Hopefully you did watch that earlier part. If you're watching this on the after the fact, this is the recording. What I will try to do is I'll try to put timestamps in the description so that if you're watching the recording after the fact, you can just skip through the intro. You can get to the discussion sections, get through the break, and then get to the question and answer session. So it's easier to kind of pop it back and forth. So with that being said, let's get started with the first question of the day, which is from Fishy2951, who asks, when will CIG crack and add another light fighter, and what will it be? Well, we haven't talked about the Misk Fury yet, which is apparently late.
What?
It's probably going to be like a Redeemer gunship. Paul.
Oh, that's what we talked about earlier in the chat.
Yeah. The Fury. I almost could almost guarantee you that it'll be a light fighter. I'm hopefully I'm wrong, but if it's a gunship, it's great. What do you think, Fastcart? What do you when do you think CIG will crack and add another light fighter, and what will it be?
Yeah. Oh, but before I answer, I just want to say thank you for having me on, Paul. I know this is our annual tradition. You forget to have me on during Black History Month, and you put me on the first week after that. So thank you very much. Happy Women's History Month, by the way. So yeah, thank you for having me on again.
Just remind me. Remind me to not have
ahead.
Buster on for Women's History Month, so I can bring him on the first week of April.
So wait, I did forget the question. Repeat that again, please.
When will CIG crack and add another light fighter, and what will it be?
There's so many light fighters. Maybe they have like an alien one coming up. I don't know. Okay. Well, I mean, technically, is the Defender considered a light fighter or
it's a heavy fighter?
It's a heavy. Okay. So I think we'll probably get a maybe an alien one, hopefully sooner than later. But well,
didn't the one of the not the Santoki, it was a Santoki. No, which one was on the roadmap? It showed up. It was on the progress. The
Santoki. That's a medium fighter, though.
Yeah, the Santoki.
The medium fighter.
Yeah, but that's medium. I think the Blade is considered a light fighter, right? It's
light fighter.
Yeah. Yeah, Trouble Magnet just beat me to it. Go ahead. Sorry.
So you're saying Banu light fighter? Is what you're saying?
Alien, not just Banu, but I would like to see a Banu, but yeah, alien light fighter.
The Banu Defender is considered a light fighter according to CIG.
That's what I thought.
It's not a.
It's not really, but that's what I thought.
It is according to CIG. According on you can check the
CIG said a lot of things. AC Vertigo, you know this.
Check the Matrix of Lies.
The Matrix of Lies.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it, make sure I'm correct. Let's see, Banu Defender, focus, light fighter.
So wrong.
That's what I thought.
So
yeah.
A two-person light
more
fighter.
Of a medium fighter, in my opinion.
Vertigo. Same question to you. When will CIG crack and add another light fighter, and what will it be?
We haven't seen anything. Well, they have the Jean Scout, the Banu Defender, the
Talon.
Vandal Blade. We got plenty of human fighters. They may add another Vandal one because Squadron 42. Because I remember the Kilrathi had like 2 different light fighters in the Wing Commander series. I can't remember the different ones, but they definitely had 2 different light fighters. Kind of makes it up. So I think they may add another Vandal light fighter. Or we saw this in the sneak peek from 2019, I think it was, where they actually showed modified human fighters for like pirates and whatnot. they may do some weird like tack together kind of Toyota technical kind of thing with like a Mustang Alpha or something, because I think they showed something off like that. But the light fighter category is pretty much complete. I can't imagine what CIG could possibly add to the light fighter.
I mean, and people have been saying that for a bunch of ships like that. Does Star Citizen really need any more new ships at this point? And the answer is still yes, because there's certain roles
because they need to continue funding the project. So of course they're going to be selling starships. Yeah. What else is going to be like? Yeah.
But the light fighters specifically are an oversaturated genre, from the Delta to the LN to the Arrow and the Gladius and the Buccaneer and the Blade, and
we have so many light fighters in the game, and a lot of them don't see any use other than the Arrow, the Gladius, and now the Blade. Now that the Blade's been buffed a little bit.
Okay, hear me out. What we need is an overpowered light fighter that CG can nerf a month later. That'd be perfect.
That's all their ships.
That's all their ships. Yeah.
So,
except for the Scorpions, because the community pushed back on it and CIG said we're not gonna nerf that one. That's the only one.
They want that X-wing meta. All right, QPan asks the traditional question, which is, how's everyone doing tonight? How are you doing tonight, Vertigo?
I'm doing pretty good. Drinking some water, staying hydrated.
Yeah. Fastcard, how about you? How are you doing tonight?
I'm okay. It's just that, I bought I already made accommodation for CitizenCon, so I'm in the hole financially, and I bought the new Galaxy S23.
Oh, nice.
So I sent him my trade-in for that, but the post office lost my mail, so I don't think I don't know how that's going to go. I might be charged full price instead of half price. So I don't know how that's going to go. So I'm okay, but yeah.
I am at the point of burnout for work because it's we're spring break is not next week, but the week after next, and after spring break is the downhill slide. So it's a nice kind of easy kind of finishing it off, because then you have I have about 2 months after spring break. I've got 2 weeks in March, and then I've got the month of April, and then the first week or so of May, and then I'm out before June. So, but this year for some reason has been extra rough for me. So I've really burned out, and I need more time. I think it's because it's also been a dead time for CIG and for Star Citizen, so it's not like
everybody's suffering. I think from the 318 kind of content drought.
Yeah.
Star Citizen, tune in tomorrow. No, I'm kidding.
Go watch that 3rd anniversary. All right, next question comes from Northern Trooper, who asks, with CIG's introduction, introducing more FPS, non-pilot or ship focus, are you more intrigued with capital ship play or surface of the planets or moons play? Fastcard, to start with you that one.
Not really. I can go either way on that, actually. We're going to say I'm not really interested in capital ship play. I will be for a little bit once the game goes live, because I won't be on my ship all the time, because sometimes I want to, see other game players, and other people have that big ship. They need crews, so people are going to be calling on me to say, hey, Fastcard, we need you for this certain. So, yeah, I will probably be participating. But, I want to do it all a bit, but... that's what I'm going to go with. I want to do it all eventually.
Do it all. All right. Vertigo, were you more excited for planet surface gameplay or capital ship multi-crew gameplay?
I mean, more multi-crew gameplay would be nice. We have plenty of multi-crew ships in the game already, so it'd be nice to get some use out of them. But outside some big events or some high-level missions, just more of everything. Yes. Both.
Same answer.
But we have the resources. Supposedly they were working on the resource system. I don't know if that's ever going to come around, but it'd be nice to do some missions with a fully crewed reclaimer and have people managing the power and repairing the ship from the inside and using the repair tool on the outside to patch up some holes and just continuing going out and doing some more missions.
And every ship is going to need that one person who imitates Scotty from Star Trek.
Yes.
We need more power. She can't handle it, Captain.
I think I'm probably more interested in multi-crew gameplay because we've had, as you said, we've had multi-crew ships for so long, but we haven't actually had purposes for them. And now with the additions of engineering, you'll start to see a lot of things. And I think a lot of people are focusing on like running around with a wrench or a hammer and just like trying to fix things. I think people forget that the other thing is going to be power management. So someone's going to be sitting there being like, rerouting power to blah blah blah, all that sort of thing, and trying to keep that all going and balanced. Which that's
another thing people forget is like when you're on attack, you're gonna have to put out fires on ships and stuff like that. So
fires. Forgot about fire propagation.
Right.
Which they talked about in the latest monthly report. They worked on it. They've been working on it. So now fire leaves soot when it burns. So you're going to see black soot on places that have been, near things that have been near fire.
Well, I got to be black, Paul. No, I'm kidding.
I don't invent physics. They're fast card. I don't know why. This is another question. This is mostly for me, from Purple Yeti, who asks, can we get just a bit of info on Behest Mining? So for those of you who don't know, Behest Mining is a new corporation that they added to the verse in terms of the lore.
Really?
Yeah. Behest was a organization that existed from the early human exploration days up to the end of the Meso era, and they collapsed during the Meso era because they were so tied with the Mesers that they were just like, they weren't very good people anyways. They famously flaunted not taking care of their miners. They had multiple strikes and other issues. There's a mine in Null. I can't remember which planet of Null. Which have either of y'all heard of the Centralia fire? Centralia, Pennsylvania.
No.
So
that's
there's
my knowledge.
In Pennsylvania. In Centralia, Pennsylvania. It was a coal mining town, and somehow the mine got lit on fire. And because it was exposed to the elements and it had enough oxygen as well as a bunch of
burning
coal,
for a really long time.
It's still burning.
I vaguely remember hearing about a coal mine that was on fire and it's still burning to this day.
It's still burning to this day. It's the inspiration behind Silent Hill. Silent Hill was inspired by that. So the whole series of those games. So Behest has basically a mine like that where it's still burning on Null. And their mine fire happened and it's still burning going today. And it's been burning for 300 years. So.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Because we brought this up on Soul Talk on Thursday's show, but I didn't know the answer, so we were figuring we can ask Paul. So I'm on the show here, so I'm going to ask you. So on ArcPub, there's that globe, the cylinder with the gears and everything on it. Mm-hmm. We want to know if there's any lore behind that. Do you know of any lore behind that globe, the sphere?
The central sphere, in the
in the middle,
sculpture? No, there's no lore that I know of. I think it's just an art piece. There may be some artists somewhere they've mentioned about that did that, but I haven't seen anything like that. So. Okay,
because I was hoping, remember 2015, 2016, they were doing snow globes for different ships. I had the idea, and I submitted it to Alexis Lechnick, who was in charge of the subscriber stuff back then. Make a snow globe of the ArcPub monument, and I think that'd be a cool flair. I'm still looking forward to that.
I'd love to see something like that. That'd be good.
I'd love to see my Star Kitten T-shirt in game at some point. CIG. Remember that Star Kitten T-shirt they gave everybody?
Yeah.
Still waiting on that thing.
Next question comes from Northern Trooper, who asks, with the size of UGFs, what type of missions or curated activities would you like to see there? Industrial crane operator, spy versus spy, hostage rescue. I would like to see the entirety of Metal Gear Solid 1 recreated and the entirety of Half-Life 1 recreated. All right, that's what I want.
Yeah.
That sort of gameplay though. You can easily do that kind of stuff where espionage. Got to sneak in, get stuff, or defend it from an incursion of some kind, and just with your wits. So, what do you think, Vertigo? I'll start with you on this one. What would you like to see kind of gameplay in?
It looked like we had infiltration options when they showed off. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely stealth infiltration, because CIG wants stealth in Star Citizen. That's why we have a takedown from the back.
Mm-hmm.
like one button takedown. But yeah, I would love to see. Man, I really think they missed out on the opportunity to add like the ability to fly into the underground area with your ship. You know, just have like your constellation, like you call for a landing, and the hangar opens up, and you have to fly down into the hole, and then you land deep into the base, and then it closes up above you. Or
Like,
you land on the elevator, and the elevator just takes you all the way down to the cargo area, and then you load up there, and it comes all the way back to the surface.
What was it? It was the first Halo game where the Pelican goes into the ring. And
no one expects an airdrop
down.
from underground.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong. That area that they showed on IRC, that's in Pyro, correct?
Pyro was 3, but they can put the bases wherever they want. So,
but my thing is that I don't think they can really have it open to the surface area at all, because they want to protect themselves from the storms and all about the weather that's going to happen. So I don't see them opening up to the surface because of that.
Yeah, but I could still see like at least like like it opens up and you can come down and then close, and then maybe like an airlock for ships or something like that.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that.
But
what do you think?
But as far as the question goes, I want to see. I'm going to bring this up. A Titan suit infiltration mission, because I don't know if you saw some of those depictions of leather. Some of the doors are small, but the Titan suit is like 10 feet tall. Or maybe higher, so it won't fit.
Well, they can always add a
those
crouch
doors.
mechanic to the Titan suit to make it hunch over a little bit.
And it's wide too, so it depends. But I think
they can always add a whole breath option to the Titan suit.
so my idea is you gotta find where all the elevators and everything like that, and eventually make it down to the lowest level, and hope that the elevator doesn't kill you in the process.
Elevator roulette. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Normie Revenge already asked. Cuban already asked that, Normie Revenge, but thank you. How's everyone doing? All right. Dan Little asks, what was your first ship? What is your favorite ship? And what is your dream holy grail ship? I'll start with you on this one, Fastcart. What is your first ship, your favorite ship, and your dream/holy grail ship?
I'm gonna need you to repeat that a couple of times. So my first ship, when I first backed the game, I got the Hornet physical package and the 315P. Those are my first two ships. But I wound up melting those and getting the Constellation Tourist physical package and I want to say the Super Hornet eventually. So yeah, those are my first couple of ships. I didn't go one, and I bought two. And what are the other two?
Your favorite ship, and then your dream holy grail ship.
You want me to do it, Paul?
Yes,
you want me to do it?
Do it. Do it. Hit us.
Brand new mustard mine. That's my favorite ship, and the ship I'm looking forward to is Endeavor also. But yeah, and is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Vertigo, your first ship, your favorite ship, and your dream/holy grail ship.
My first ship was the Constellation Andromeda. I bought a Rear Admiral package back in 2013. And then my favorite ship. God, my favorite ship, based on like looks, I'd say would be like the Talon. That thing is really nice with that red crimson skin. And then the ship of my dreams, I already have it. It's the Carrack. So
Carrack.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
I don't have anything I'm really waiting for CIG to push out.
It's really funny. Like I backed in 2014, and I saw the measurement, and that's my dream gameplay to be a market person or economy person, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then the Endeavor was concepted in 2015. And that's going to be like, I'm going to use the Super Collider to mod components and stuff like that, to overclock them and stuff. So that's the other aspect I'm looking forward to. So yeah, those, and it just so happened that the two of my favorite ships are taking the longest to make. That's my luck.
For my first ship was the 315P, because I'm an idiot. When I went to go back Star Citizen, I was trying to find something that gave alpha access, and none of them explicitly said alpha access. except for the 315p. And I think they all did. I just didn't see them because I'm an idiot. So I just said, I'll just buy the 350. This is fine. It's a little expensive, but it's fine. Then I found out later I'm an idiot. But then my favorite ship is the Cutlass Black. The Cutlass series in general, but Cutlass Black. Just because it's a good ship, you can do pretty much any gameplay for it right now. It just works so well.
Yeah. It's one of those ships, like, I could agree with that, Paul, but it's not my favorite ship, but it's one of those ships you could pull out. You could say to yourself, I don't know what I want to do today in Star Citizen. Let's get the Cutlass Black out and just figure out something. Mm-hmm. It's one of those ships that's just basically almost ready for everything.
Chat. And then we all... sorry. And then we all discovered LTI and melted everything that we had.
Yes. Yep. So, of course, Chad is also pointing out that CIG has already decided that my favorite ship is the Redeemer because they gifted me an unmeltable...
You're welcome for that. Your free Redeemer, by the way. I think I've been on the show since then.
I think it was you and
Dargenator.
It was you and Darge, but it was also I'm blanking on his name.
I just remember Darge.
Tiki Hut. He's gonna rip me apart for forgetting his name.
You're looking in your Discord?
Yeah, I'm looking at my Discord. I think he's on right now. Fast car or Fair Salt. That's why I thought it was it was Fast Car because it was I've called you Fast Car and I call you Fast Fair Salt. So Fair Salt was also the one who suggested it. It was a group effort of the entirety of the Captain's Table Discord trolling me about that whole thing over the course of the first 24-hour charity stream we did, and it was like, but my dream ship, and
you don't regret it at all, right? You look at that ship in your hangar once a day, every day, and you say, thank you, folks, for giving me this ship.
Yes, I don't deep down inside want to just blow up. Like just take it out so I can see it explode over and over again.
Because it's a token. You can't melt it, you can't upgrade it, and you can't do anything.
Nope, can't do anything with it.
It's just there.
But for my dream ship, Holy Grail ship, I guess it'd be the Banu Merchantman. My dream ship, Holy Grail ship, would be a Banu Merchantman, but medium sized. So like a medium-sized commerce ship, something you can open up a shop out of, like the size.
So like the original Banu Merchantman, which was originally the size of the Freelancer. People think I'm joking. The original size of the Banu Merchantman was about the same size as the Freelancer.
Remember, the Caterpillar was called the Freelancer's evil twin.
Yeah. Caterpillar was so much smaller. Like I got the old concept images on my hard drive. Yeah, I show them off on stream all the time. Like, here's how it fucking started, everybody. Here's how it is right now. There's been a little bit of inflation, if you know what I mean.
Inflation, that's one word for it.
The reason why they got so big though is because they took a look at it and like, we'll just be able to like walk through those areas, and they realized that
COVID
AI.
Weight, Paul.
It's that COVID weight. Well, because AI is stupid, and they can't traverse sections that are too small, and so they had to expand all the sections to make sure AI could walk through them. So,
I mean, can you imagine how big the Endeavor will be? Because I think Sergeant Graham is predicting 300 meters. It's only 200 meters, but I don't know about 300. I'm thinking 250, 240.
Oof.
Yeah, the big capital size ship, but I got it for 350.
Oh, and someone's saying, Paul, when did you so go keep going fast car, right? Sorry about that.
Oh, I was gonna say it, and I got the Merchantman for 250, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, I got my Merchantman for 250 too. So I'm in the same club. When did Cuddy become my favorite ship? Over the last year or so, last 2 years. The Freelancer's always been good, but I just find myself using the Cutlass. Like, I rarely ever use the Freelancer. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Freelancer handles like ass and its interior is completely bad. So,
I spent a lot of time in the Vanguard Warden simply because like it's graded, it's pretty decent and like NPC bounties, and you could it's got storage, so you can land next to an outpost, go out, grab some stuff, get into a firefight, throw some stuff in the back of the Vanguard Warden, take off, go back to the space station, unload your crap, and go out for more.
I don't play Star Citizen daily. I mostly when a new patch comes out, but I think the Mercury Star Runner or the Mercury now is my go-to ship for it because it has cargo and does what I need.
All right. Next question comes from Cupan, who asks, "What's your ideas on what the Misk Fury might be?" Vertigo, what do you think? What do you think the Misk Fury is?
I'm thinking gunship similar to Redeemer. Kind of around that area. Something bigger than the Freelancer MIS, the MIS.
It's just considered a gunship.
Maybe more of a turret focused.
Yeah. Fast cart?
I think it'll be a ship for Vin Diesel to travel around because in pitch black and Riddick and because he's the Fury, so it has its name.
Yeah, he's Fury. He's Fury.
No, today is the first day I've heard it. I've heard of the Fury because I try to stay away from leaks and spoilers and stuff like that.
Well, they actually said it. One of the developers said it on Star Citizen Live.
That's how we know.
I missed yesterday's on STL. That's the other thing. So I didn't hear about it. But people say a light fighter. I don't see why not. I mean, even though it's overpopulated, that doesn't stop CRG. So probably be a light fighter, like you said.
Probably like some sort of militia vehicle. It could be Misk's response to the Cutlass. Where, the Freelancer exists. It could be like more of a more militarized version of the Freelancer. You kind of like taking that.
Well, they already have that. They already have like a militia version of a light fighter.
Yeah, but has that stopped them in the past?
No.
No. Stops CIG in the past?
Right. No, it hasn't. Because CIG will do what they want, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
The question will be is how much you think it'll be. You think it'll be the mixed version of the Cutlass Steel, overpriced and underutilized?
Okay, so everybody says the Cutlass Steel is overpriced, but it's actually the cheapest dropship out of the lineup. You look at the Cutlass Steel versus the Valkyrie versus the Prowler.
It is, but
compared
it's still
to other Cutlasses.
Yeah,
it's more expensive. Yeah, but for dropships.
Yeah, but the problem is you can't use any of the guns on the side of the dropship because it's still broken. And in game, it's cheaper than the black. So it's
My favorite one was we tried to use the Cutlass Steel for Jumptown once. I was on the side guns, and then my pilot hit the brakes, and I fell off the gun.
Yes, and you fell out of the ship.
Useless.
Yeah,
he just is so useless.
All right, I don't know what the Fury is going to be. I guess a gunship. I guess we could see a gunship. But
yeah,
a misgunship. That's possible. I don't. Yeah. I mean, who saw the Miss Razor coming? Right, a Miss Racing vehicle.
It makes no sense. So, next question comes from Dan from Half Sack, who asks, "I just heard some people talking about Titan suits recently. What are they? From what I heard, they remind me of Titanfall. Is that true?" No, they're
basically smaller Titans from Titanfall. That's basically the best description.
Effectively it. They're if you've played Fallout 4, it's the power armor from Fallout 4. If you've played, go ahead.
Or if you want to go old school, take up Alien, the Ripley.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Yeah, that's what it's based off.
Of.
That's 100% what it's based off of, because Chris Roberts is a giant Aliens fan. So
actually, I heard it was Sean Tracy who wanted mechs in Star Citizen for the longest time because
he did.
Love you, Sean Tracy. Yeah, make it possible. Make it do it.
he did. But the Titan suit is back from 2013, 2012, from before Sean Tracy was in Star Citizen. Was developing for Star Citizen. So it's been around for a long time. It's been there since the space suit.
I thought he was there from the beginning.
He was, but he was an advisor. He wasn't developer.
Okay.
So, but
not Anthem, coupon, not Anthem.
Yeah,
no.
it's very similar. It is very similar to the suits from Anthem. It's the same kind of size. And you also will see, but it's very similar to it's heavily inspired by the Max suits from Planetside 2. So, which are the kind of the heavy armor sort of thing. All right. Next question comes from Jerbear Life, who asks, do you think we will see architectural variations of the new UGFs based on the corp that owns them, like a techie Microtech one versus an oppressive Hurston one? Not initially, but maybe. What do y'all think? Fastcart, do you think we're going to see different variations of the UGFs?
People are. We were talking about it a bit on Soul Talk. So people are hoping that different planets will have different architecture in the future, other than like your Pi will have this a certain architecture and look and aesthetic, and maybe like Nyx will have another architecture and look. And so I think there'll be some variation, but they I think they do want to make it procedural and make it easier to build. So I don't know how much variation we'll see, but we'll see some variation. The question is how big, how diverse they will be. That's the yeah.
Vertigo?
Yeah. I think CIG like they did with all the outposts we have right now, right? So you have different branding. You have Shubin Mining. You have Riari. How to pronounce it? Riari. You have Hurston. You have different brands. ArcCorp even has their own brand. I think the underground facilities will be built by different manufacturers. Like you may have ArcCorp making their own, right? And you'll have branding. So, and you may have they'll definitely have different layouts. Like try to use a procedural technology to make them like a little different as you go in. Definitely different branding. So, I think Fastcar's probably right. We're going to have different styles of manufacture, but I think we'll have a generic style as well. Like they showed off with the Colonial Outpost. Like they have this huge, they have the artists make this huge swath of like building types, and then they kind of stick those things together, and then they kind of put like decorations around all those things they stick together, kind of like Legos. This is how everything snaps together. It's like a very, very high fidelity Lego set. And it just requires for an artist to sit down and just make new stuff. And I think Chris Roberts loves doing that kind of thing. He loves just making like, here's the ArcCorp suite of like Colonial Outposts. This is like ArcCorp builds like a mining station, and here's all the buildings they put down themselves. Or maybe they take over from like some other more generic manufacturer. So I think we'll probably see stuff that's going to be like high tech, as well as low tech, stuff that's fairly clean, like, kind of like Microtech versus Hurston. And you're going to see stuff in various states of disrepair, new stuff versus stuff that's been like there a long time. So we're going to see a lot of variety, I think, in Star Citizen when it comes to like ground outposts, above and below ground.
I'm looking forward to seeing the underground facilities for like Terra and Soul, because it's not in the future. So I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go into an underground facility and encounter my first xenomorph and get my face ripped off.
Yeah, it's gonna happen at some point.
It's gonna happen. Like Chris Roberts, they can't stop themselves. They literally
dug too greedily and too deep.
Yep.
Give me a giant flaming demon monster.
And then Paul Shelley's gonna look at me like, "How do I look, Gandalf? Fly, you fools!" You look fly.
You look fly. All right. Got a couple more questions left. I'm splitting between the YouTube and Twitch comments just kind of evenly. The next question comes from Jacob McQuaid, who asks, how do you think Titan suits will play? Max suits from Planetside comes to mind. Tanky, slow, moving, but highly specialized for a role. Yeah. But I kind of hope they handle like a small mobile suits. What do you think, Vertigo?
Well, I think you're going to use your mouse to look around, and you're going to press W to move forward, and then A to strafe left, S to strafe backwards.
Do you think
press spacebar to jump, and then you're going to hold F to use inner thought. I don't know if they're going to use tank controls. They may use tank controls for kind of like, have you ever played like oh god, what was it? Resident Evil, the very first Resident Evil, where you basically had to turn in place to like move to change directions. Like that may be the Titan suit. Like it may be extremely restrictive to actually maneuver in a Titan suit, just to kind of like balance out the fact of how tough you are and how much firepower you're going to have.
What do you think, Fastcart? How do you think it'll handle?
My dream would be like an Iron Man suit, flight mechanic wise, and Star Citizen, but I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be more realistic, physics based. Because I think it'll be slow and plodding. Think of like Aliens again, the lifter in Aliens. I think it'll be something like that, except better weapons.
I think you'll have a higher top speed than a player if you're running, but it'll be hard to move. So like if you're sprinting at something, you'll be able to run faster than you would be on foot.
Yeah.
But maybe not.
I remember a game called Steel Battalion, Paul.
Yeah,
if you got up to top speed in that game and you decided to turn, your mech would actually fall over and you had to go through a process to stand back up.
Yeah, I think something like that will likely happen. Like you could go straight in a top speed, go pretty fast, but the turn is very cumbersome, and trying to do little fine movements won't be as good. I don't think we're going to.
It'll be like the 350R, except vehicle based.
Yes, I don't think we're going to see something like anime mobile suit, kind of idea where like you have super
don't do
fast
that
reactions.
to my dream.
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it personally because I love mecha and that's just kind of awesome. But I think it's going to be much more of a light tank in its gameplay that can fit into doorways instead of
okay. So we're gonna geek out a bit. Are you expecting more Macross, more Gundam, or more Transformers?
Probably more.
If I
was to do this, probably Transformers. I was gonna say I'd love to see something like Appleseed or
oh yeah, you're going old school. Okay,
yeah.
You're going deep cut.
those sorts of suits that are like on wheels, so like they move like vehicles, and then
you're talking about like heavy gear.
Yeah, like heavy
that
gear.
Kind of. They basically had like wheels built into the legs, and they could pop the wheels out to like skate over like roads and whatnot, and then they can convert back into like a bipedal mode for like walking through rough terrain up hills and whatnot.
I mean, these are concepts, so they can change their mind, but we don't see wheels on any of the old concepts for the Titan suit. But these are like from 2014, 2015, so they could make a variation with wheels on them, but we just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, there'll definitely be variations.
Yeah, I'm going to make another deep cut, like Bubblegum Crisis. I'm hoping something like that, too. Bubblegum Crisis.
Oh my god, you've actually watched Bubblegum Crisis?
Yeah,
yes,
I watched Bubblegum Crisis. I watched Bubblegum Crisis and Bubblegum Crash. Okay,
I haven't seen Bubblegum Crash. I should probably look that up.
Yeah.
But Bubblegum Crisis. Oh boy, the suits in that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Check it out, chat.
The thing is the suits are smaller. So like Titan suits are not like these huge unwieldy mecha. In fact, Sean Tracy even refuses to call them mecha because they're not mecha. You stand in them instead of sitting in them.
They're just like powered armor. That's
like powered armor.
They're powered armor. Yeah. It's like an Iron Man suit, basically.
Yeah. It's an Iron Man suit that you don't wear because you step into it and then you control it with like joysticks. So it's like a hybrid like Iron Man armor and mecha.
Yeah, I have a screenshot of that. Give me a moment. Is it this one?
They released a couple of images back in like 2018, 2019. So you can see.
Oh, these are older than that. It's like that. I put it in Discord.
Yeah. That one's a little older, but there's I thought that was older, but where all the stuff I looked it up was 20 it said it was from the 2018, 2019. I thought this was older too, but yeah. Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next question, which is we'll just go to the next one and the next question about the Titan suit. What new FPS content are you most hyped about, and why is it the Titan suit?
Good question. I'm glad you asked.
I want to be able to get into a suit and go low flying with a low flying M2 and jump out the back and land like a superhero. And then proceed to do crazy stuff.
You would, without some sort of inertial dampening system, you turn into beef stroganoff,
which would be funny still.
Yeah.
Let's just, 900 years in the future, they can make a anti-grav or some kind of inertial dampeners inside the suits. Okay, it's 900 years in the future.
What about you, Vertigo? What would you do with the Titan suit?
My God. Shit, try to roll a ship over or something on a landing pad. See if you can't just get under a ship and just stand up or something, and see if you can't just roll it on its side.
Fast cart?
I mean,
remember Michael Bay Transformers, fight and stuff like that? Maybe something like that, or we just have a mission where you have to rescue some damsel or a guy. It could be any gender, but you have a rescue mission. And one of the lines from the inner thought you can pick is "Get away from her, you." Yeah.
All right, next question.
Gotta relive that moment.
Next question comes from Manu21, who asks, "Hi from France. I just have to look at your Jumptown War video. Best video ever. Looks like a lot of works. Continue like that. You're a gem for the community." It's not a question, but I do thank you for that, Manu. I did take a lot of work, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
No, we had an agreement. No
questions. No statements.
Only.
That's true.
No statements.
I will allow it if it fluffs up my ego. All right.
Okay.
A Nomad Life asks, "Do you think players will be able to build underground either with developed modules or raw mining tunnels?" Fastcart, what do you think?
Ooh.
Well, we don't know what the Pioneer will do. It could have a variation of a Pioneer, because the Pioneer is supposed to be above ground, but they may have a module that lets you go underground eventually. So maybe? I'm not sure.
What do you think, Vertigo?
I don't think CIG plans for us to build underground. They may, because it's not like No Man's Sky where we have like the ability to like remove terrain. We don't have that voxel-based terrain deformation like No Man's Sky has in some other games. We may one day they may make it so you can sink some, because the way CIG does it is they build a really tall building and they just sink it into the geometry.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they get stuff underground. And then they'll have like an algorithm that goes over once they put the building down to level everything out around that building. So you can land your ships without having to worry about landing on like divots and hills and whatnot, and you can drive over a more flatter area. They may give us that technology for like the Pioneer in the future, but I doubt it. Like I that may be like a pipe dream. The PCAG may say, "Fuck it, good enough," and just let us just put stuff on the surface and let us flatten the surface terrain out a little bit and put buildings on the surface, and then like, yeah, that's good. Job's done.
I'm imagining a future DLC long after Star Citizen has launched and gone live, but we'll have a future DLC called Star Citizen Minecraft edition.
Minecraft edition.
You just basically you get to go underground and stuff like that. So yeah, you have a new multi-tool. It does everything. Yeah.
So the funny part is that Notch and Mojang were actually building Star Citizen Minecraft Edition shortly after they finished Minecraft, but Minecraft started blowing up when they were doing that. It was called like 10C, 0 times 10C or something like that. It was nuts. All right, next question comes from YouTube, who asks. YouTube asks, Peruna, who asks, "Do you expect server meshing to be out by the end of the year? And how much easier will that be to implement compared to PES? Half as difficult-ish? ? Vertigo.
No, I don't expect server meshing be this year, or even next year. Maybe end of next year, but that's not. Yeah, it's probably going to be like 2025.
Okay.
That's how I would expect it, and it's going to be difficult for CIG, I think.
Static meshing, you mean?
Static, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fastcart, what do you think?
I have no idea. I think it'll be out before Endeavor. That's all I can say. It'll be out before the Endeavor. That's my expectation.
I don't expect it to be out this year. I do expect it probably to come out sometime early next year if they can manage to pull it off. But, this is CIG we're talking about. They could completely misread the whole thing. They could start looking at it and be like, "Wow, this is a lot more work than we thought." So,
and it could be just the opposite, because they said that we won't have procedural planets in game, and then 3 months later, procedural planets came out in game. So it could be something like that, but I'm not expecting it.
Don't hold your breath on Star Citizen. Like, it's just always assume everything's going to take longer than just take CIG's own estimates, add 2 to 3 weeks, then double it.
Yeah.
And that's probably what it's really going to be.
Yeah, but Vertigo, if you take 9 pregnant women,
you have 9 babies that you have to feed them all.
So there's a trolley, and you have a lever, and there's 9 babies tied to one track, and there's 9 formerly pregnant women tied to the other track, and you can pull lever and switch the direction of the trolley, and you can't stop the trolley.
You can't stop the trolley. How will that affect the development of Star Citizen?
Server meshing.
This is for Women's History Month, by the way. I just want to say.
Happy Women's History Month. Oh, gosh.
I mean, I'm going to do something special for Black History Month, Fat. Sorry, I swear to God for you.
Next question comes from Ionic Gecko, who asks, with all the new UGF work, do you think we'll see versions that have ground vehicle entrances that will allow players to drive into them and bring with it more gameplay opportunities? Possibly.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna head. I'm saying yes.
Go ahead.
Eventually.
Okay.
I would love to see like just an entrance you can drive over and it takes you into like an underground facility, and it just has a hangar door that closes on top of it. Because one of the big problems you have right now is you park next to an underground facility and people can destroy your ship. Like NPCs spawn there, they blow your ship up, the turrets blow your ship up, players could blow your ship up, and that strands you. That's kind of like really irritating.
Okay.
So I'd love to see like vehicle bays at like underground facilities. You can spawn a vehicle and just sends it up. Because CIG has that problem where like just vehicles just spawn, right? And Chris Roberts kind of wants to avoid the ship just popping into existence. So how do you do that? Well, you just hide the spawning. You have like a box like come out of the ground and opens up and suddenly like, hey, here's your vehicle. It was hiding underground the entire time.
Hey. Why the game lagged so suddenly? Oh, someone just spawned a vehicle under me. Okay, fine. Yeah, but I'm imagining instead of a back cave, I want a fast cart cave where I can just have all my vehicles, have all my ships. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That's called the asteroid hangar. It's a cave in space.
The VGF.
It's a very small hang. It's a very small planet just for you, fast cart. They were thinking of you when they made it.
Thank you. All right, I appreciate that.
The next question comes from Scrapyard Wars, who asks, do you expect... Oh, I'm sorry. Does the panel think funding will level off until Squadron 42 is out, and long-term success depends on the Squadron 42? As an example, I have stopped buying any more pledges. All right, I'm going to start with this one, because this is something that surprised the hell out of me, and then I'll let Fastcart elaborate, because I know Fastcart tracks this a little bit more as well.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. This January, last January, was rough. It was very rough. The gameplay was 317 is still bad. It still has problems. 318 is still in PTU. They made more money this January than they have ever made in any other January ever before. That gobsmacked me. Taking a look at that and being like, no, I don't think funding is slowing down until Squadron happens. I think people are it's just going to keep going because it's still growing.
We are seeing an unprecedented wave of new backers.
Yeah.
Right now. And what convinces me about that is I am seeing a lot more dumbass newbie questions in global chat than I have ever seen before.
Dumb.
And since I've been a streamer, like I'm serious, like it is just, how do I get to my ship constantly? How do I do this? How do I do that? Where's ArcCorp? How do I engage my quantum drive? It's seriously just a lot of noob questions. So I literally believe that we just have a lot of new players joining, and they're discovering the web store, and they're basically becoming concierge just like we were all those years ago.
Yeah. I'm looking at the crowdfunding spreadsheet right now. I can put the link in chat in a bit. But yeah, we're getting about 1,000 new citizens every day. Sometimes it's 1,800, sometimes it's 900. But on average, I want to say it's 1,000 to 1,200 per day. And, back before the pandemic, it was closer to 500 per day. So we're getting double or triple that amount. And, back in 2020, we were trying to predict whether or not, everyone knows the pandemic started in 2020, and we saw a huge increase in funding, because I think that was the first year they had Invictus Week. So instead of just having IE in November, they had Invictus Week and then CitizenCon and IE. They had two fundraising events that are just one. And saw a huge increase.
Those free flies are some of the best things that CIG's done. Having a free fly guaranteed twice a year is great for funding.
Right. And so at the end of 2022, I was on the captain table with Paul, and I said, no, I think next year we won't see as much money. Lo and behold, it was the best year they had again. So I cannot get bet against CIG when it comes to crowdfunding.
Eventually, crowdfunding will taper out, like it happens to every video game.
We don't know when.
It's not going to happen within the next 2 years, I don't think.
No,
like
I don't think.
They may be on record for another record funding year, but it's probably going to be at least another close to $100 million year.
Yeah,
this year. And maybe next year, probably like 90 million, and the next year after that will be like 95 million. But they're Star Citizen right now, as much as some of the Black Knights and the haters and the people who are kind of tired of Star Citizen and Chris Roberts, Star Citizen is I don't want to say it's peaked, but it's definitely rising in terms of popularity and funding. And just look at the numbers.
Yeah, like this last month apparently was worse than a lot of the previous ones. So this is the worst February we've had since 2014, or since 2019. I want to say, since 2019. But we had 4 million instead of 5 million in 2020, 2021.
Oh no, the sky is falling. The end is nigh.
I mean, like you look at because they're not here to turn a profit. It's not like Electronic Arts where they have shareholders they're beheld to have dividends to give out.
Yeah.
They just have Chris Roberts. So what is the minimum Chris Roberts can make every year to keep the company just trudging along? That's the real question.
Yeah.
Like $50 million, $30 million?
Whatever the cost is.
They do have investors. They do have investors because they talk about it. I think 2 years ago they had those investors who investing in the game just for marketing.
We don't know what the return of it on the investment. It could literally be like they asked for like 1% of their money back, like 1% over what they gave them, which means they lose.
It could
to
be more. We don't know.
But,
that's the thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
Could have been a really sweetheart deal. We don't know. Or it could be like 50% return or something. We don't know what this. It could have been literally Chris could have been borrowing money from his best friend or something for that $46 million.
Yeah.
So,
next question comes from Sandgroper, who asks, "How is everyone's sanity going with the wait for 318 to go live? I found other games to play."
Yeah, me too. Show me a Star Citizen streamer. I'll show you a variety streamer.
And Fastcar, you tend to not play until a new patch is released anyways, right? So
patch. So, but the question is, the thing is, that question is invalid to me because I don't have sanity in the first place, so it doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
I have no sanity whatsoever.
You cannot lose what you do not have.
I've been enjoying my playthrough of Mass Effect.
You've been playing through Mass Effect?
Oh, which one?
Yeah.
Yes. The legendary thing? Are you doing all of them? Or
edition, just... And we're going to go to Mass Effect Andromeda as soon as I'm done with Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
I hear the gameplay is amazing, but the plot is just bad.
It's not bad.
It gets better. It gets better from mid to end, in my opinion.
She turned me into a newt. A newt? It gets better.
It's average. Like the problem with it is that it's not that it's bad, is that it's plain. It's
aggressively mediocre is what I call it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
it had so much potential. It didn't really
squandered it. Like the Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, each game built upon the last one. It innovated, much like how you may not like the episode 1, 2, and 3 compared to episode 4, 5, and 6, but it looked innovated as compared to like 7, 8, 9. And I think Andromeda is like the Star Wars 7, 8, 9 of the Mass Effect universe. It didn't really innovate.
Yeah, they didn't really try. All right, next question comes from Purple Yeti, who asks, after server meshing, dynamic included, what do you think will be the next core tech to be worked on? I don't think we'll be past core tech blockers after server meshing. Vertigo, what do you think?
Like
What do you
we
think
have
the
like
next
gameplay, like
hurdle?
science gameplay. Like
Okay.
really, that's just more like designing like gameplay loops after that.
So,
Like our core tech is almost finished. Like org tools is like if we go back to like 2019 where Chris Roberts did the very unfortunately named Road to Release, like server meshing and then org tools. That's it.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was it. Like getting Spectrum to integrate with the game, getting the farm software they have to integrate with Star Citizen the game. Oops, sorry.
Yeah.
That's it. According to Chris Roberts, unless Chris Roberts wants to pull like, well, we know we said this, but we lied. I don't know. Like other than that, it's just like core gameplay stuff, like science and repair and refueling.
Fastcard, do you think we'll see another core tech?
I don't know when, but in development, I'm not a developer, but I wonder when Quanta will become a focus. Like you heard me, 9-to-1 or 10-to-1 player versus NPC.
Yeah. More NPCs.
So
I forgot about the virtualized NPCs.
They're gonna have to put that in the game eventually. So maybe that's next, or maybe that's further down the line.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. The last core pillar of, as Chris calls the pillar, is the quantum dynamic economy. That's it. And that's already partially into the game. It's with, it's just not really fleshed out yet. So the technology is done. It just needs to be improved and expanded to where it is. But that's a lot of that is not really core tech. It's not like R&D stuff. It's just figuring out what the commodities need to cost and how to build the economy properly when you first do it. So, it's just, I think server meshing is the last core tech for core tech blockers in terms of gameplay, in terms of building out more gameplay. And that's the key. The key thing to remember about tech blockers is that tech blockers are only matter because they are blockers to other content that we want to see put in there. Once those blockers are gone, it doesn't mean that the game suddenly becomes good. It just means now the people who have been sitting there going, I'm waiting for this to be done, I'm waiting for this to be done, can now actually start working on it. And even then, they're going to iterate on that,
There's some technology, like that's why we call it core tech. There's some technology that's extremely disruptive to development. And as CIG is working on those core technologies, any change they make to that core disrupts everything else around it. That's why persistent entity streaming is taking so long, because everything has to deal with persistent entity streaming. Everything in Star Citizen. They even have to recode how the transit systems, how elevators work in Star Citizen, because persistent entity streaming screws with that code so much. So server meshing and Quanta, I could definitely see having a huge impact on how you build that stuff. And once you get that stuff in, and then it's just like, okay, we got this stuff figured out. We know how to make stuff for it. And then you just start basically like layering, like frosting. You're just frosting a cake at that point.
Yeah.
I have a hot take. You're talking about core tech. I think 2023 will be the year that we see a shift away from Lumberyard into Unreal 5. And that'll be a whole new game changer.
Oh my God.
Mind blowing.
Another 20 years of development for switching over. Why not just Unity? Like Ravier's been making a game in Unity that looks like Star Citizen. He's been having some good progress.
I'm just gonna put my soapbox right now about this because someone made a comment about this, like, oh well, there's Squadron for Star Citizen's lagging behind. You've got UE5 and Unreal or Unreal 5 or Unity, which are both which are both like getting great tech, and they're going to have competition. And it's like no one is stupid enough to make Star Citizen. Star Citizen is dumb. The thing about Star Citizen, as much as we like to think of that Star Citizen makes a lot of money, it doesn't. Not for the scale of its development. It's huge. 1,000 people making a video game is insanity. That's a huge amount of people. The projects that have that sort of numbers are like Rockstar Games, Bethesda. We're talking about massive AAA titles that release and make $1 million or make like $100 million on the first day of their release and make billions of dollars a year. That's the kind of like size and scope that CIG is developing at, but they're making like 1/10 of that a year.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of the problem, is like CIG is not beholden to shareholders like Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, Activision, Blizzard, and space games, space sims like Elite Dangerous, No Man's Sky, Star Citizen are very niche.
Yeah.
They usually they're not guaranteed home runs. And that's the problem with like EA, Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard is they want, if they're going to spend $1 billion on a game, on a franchise to develop it and market it, they want $5 billion back, $5 billion back, guaranteed. And you go look at like Madden, FIFA for Electronic Arts. You go look at the Far Cry series, Assassin's Creed series for Ubisoft. You go look at like Activision Blizzard. I think Activision owns Clash of Clans as well, but they have like Call of Duty, I believe. Even Microsoft, like the Halo franchise, those franchises are big money, like hundreds of millions of dollars. Star Citizen has made $500 million over 10 years. That is chump change to companies like Microsoft, Electronic Arts, Ubisoft.
Not just them. Think about mobile gaming. They can make $10 million in like a day or
Diablo,
a week or so.
Genshin Impact, Diablo Immortal. I mean, everybody likes to shit on Diablo Immortal, but Diablo Immortal worked.
Yeah,
like it's making money.
Well, and that's but that's my point. Is that like you to make a game like Star Citizen, you have to have passion. You have to really want this, and you have to have the resources. And while UE5 and what is it called? Unity are fantastic engines, and they've been improving a lot of their assets to make it easier for better content on smaller budgets. There is nothing that's going to come close to what Star Citizen is doing with the R&D and technology they're putting into. It takes this long.
It didn't exist back when Star Citizen was a pipe dream, when it was just notes on Chris Roberts' napkin in a bar somewhere, when him and Ortwin were sitting down, like, which engine should we start out with? Yeah. Like, there was no engine that could do what they wanted to do at the time.
And even now, there is no engine out of the box that can do what Star Citizen does. Not even Lumberyard. They still have to develop stuff from scratch. And
actually, I would argue that Lumberyard can do what they do because they're essentially working in Lumberyard.
They are, but they're adding to it.
Yeah, they're essentially building it for Amazon.
Yeah. So, that's true.
Is the engine officially called Star Engine, or that's still something the community?
Actually, I think Lumberyard is called something else now.
It might be called something else, but
they changed it. Fully customized Amazon Lumberyard. Amazon Lumberyard is no longer offered an open 3D engine. O3DE is what it's called now.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes no sense whatsoever to me, but okay.
But yeah,
no, but before I just want to be clear. People who may not know me, I'm a troll. I made that Unreal 5 joke. No sincerity whatsoever. Because every time I make that joke, there's always one or two people who take me seriously and say, "But fast card, in order to do that, they'll add so much to development." No, I was joking when I said that. So don't delete the angry comment that you just made.
Just delete it. It's just the reason why I do it, because I've seen it a lot, and it's like, I do want competition for Star Citizen. I would love to see a game like Star Citizen made in different styles or by different companies. I'd love that. It's just not possible. And I've seen some people in chat be like, well, you say that now, but there is going to, and I've heard this story 1,000 times before. This X game is going to come out and destroy Star Citizen. X game is going to come out and destroy Star Citizen. They've either failed or completely pivoted away from the idea.
Starfield. Yeah.
Yeah, like Starfield is not going to destroy Star Citizen or Squadron 42. Yeah, none of the other games in the past have done those things. They're just different styles of games, but no one's going to do exactly what Star Citizen does, and that's why Star Citizen is still getting funding. It's just because it's got that ambition and manages to have that checkbook that keeps coming in year after year that allows them to just keep going through. We don't know exactly how much money they have left, but I can't imagine it's trillions of dollars or millions and millions left over. So. Yeah,
Paul, I'm going to push back because I'm going to disagree. I think that, just like how the Odyssey is character killer, I think Star Atlas is going to be Star Citizen killer. Just you wait.
I love it. All right. Gin and Tonic asks, what do you think we will see for Stellar Fortuna? And which Drake ship gets the green skin this year? Fast Cart, what do you think?
I've been saying it on Soul Talk and Soul Citizen for the past month. I know Stellar Fortuna is a in-game lore and event, but it's basically an analog for St. Patrick's Day. CID, you got a whole month for the past 10 years for Black History Month, I want my constellation black, okay, or constellation onyx. You can call it a constellation onyx, something like that, because you have the constellation emerald.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see some representation, okay, CIG. So yeah. But as far as the question goes, it'll be another Drake ship. Maybe the
I would like to pull an actually
Mule.
here and interrupt you. No Drake ship has a Stellar Fortuna skin.
Oh, that's right. There is a green skin for
There is. It's the ghoulish green.
The ghoulish green, yeah.
Which is Halloween. Which is what celebration is that, Paul? What's the Halloween version? What's it? Day of the Vara.
Yeah.
So the Stellar Fortuna skins are, I had to go look it up because I'm like Drake ships, Stellar Fortuna. It's actually the Mercury Star Runner, 400 die, 600 die. Are the Stellar Fortuna skins.
They had to constellation emerald. That's
the
what
emerald,
started
which
it.
has which is the Connie Emerald, which is not a Fortuna skin, but the Ursa rover has a Fortuna, if I remember correctly.
Oh.
But I believe the constellation emerald was the first Stellar Fortuna or St. Patrick's Day skin. Yeah, so that's the one that got started.
It was before they even had the skin system in. They basically had to make a separate ship with a skin.
Right, it was very.
As far as the game files are considered, the Constellation Phoenix and the Constellation Emerald are two different ships. They just are a different color.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want the Constellation Onyx. That's all I ask.
Yeah. I want more skins. Just more skins for everyone. Let the players make their own skins, honestly. Like hex codes, please.
Do you think we're going to see...
Give me some skin. That's an old joke.
Do you think... What do you think we'll see for Stellar Fortuna this year, Vertigo?
Oh man, it's hard to say. Like obviously we have they already have two Origin Jumpwork skins that have a Fortuna skin. Generally, they CIG when they do the Fortuna skins, they go for like the more luxurious brands. Crusader has a skin, Origin has a skin, Constellation Phoenix has the Fortuna skin. So I would imagine like the 300 series may get a skin. Something that's very another like the Herc series maybe.
I have a question.
I know the Spirit series is in the works, so the Spirit may get a Fortuna skin.
You beat me to it. I was going to say Crusader will probably have the skin this year. Crusader. That's my guess.
Okay, I couldn't tell you. I either Crusader or Origin. Maybe a 100 eye skin. They've been.
I would love to have a 100 eye skin. The 100 eye is a beautiful ship and an excellent shuttlecraft. It's terribly priced in the game and in the web store for what it does, but it's a good ship. I like it. CIG is really proud of that thing. Both in game and on the web store.
They are. I've got another theory about that, but I'll save that for later since we've still got a lot of questions to go through. Shimpasta asks, when did the concept of LTI come out? At the very beginning of the pledge, 2012.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
But LTI isn't always known by people. Like myself, I didn't know that LTI existed until after I'd already become part of the community. I just pledged for it, and I think a lot of people are like that. That was the reference that Fastcart was making earlier in the previous section. Gin and Tonic asks, how can we make the Freelancer a meme so that they rework it into a 2-person ship? For those of you who don't know, I have a theory that CIG only responds to memes because memes, whenever you push something really hard with a meme, they'll change it. That's what happens. And because they're just allergic to memes. So I have no idea how to make Freelancer a meme. I know how to make the X1 a meme, which is my plan until I see it fully out, which is that thing better wipe my butt and feed me caviar. It's taken 72 weeks to make. This is
the X1 bidet edition.
The bidet edition. I don't know. All right, next question comes from Guns and Glue. Who asks, what Irish fun will happen this year? How will CIG staff pick which bar citizens will visit this year? For St. Patrick's Day, I think is what they're asking. Not a clue.
They've already said that, the event that has the most people are the ones that they're going to attend. So if you have a lot of people coming, let CIG know. And
whichever event has the highest disease transmission rate. Potential.
Yeah.
That's where CIG is going to go. They want that sick leave.
Dirk C. Fenrir asks, which did you think has the larger portion of backers now? Backers that know of Squadron 42 was the original intent, or versus backers who have no idea what Squadron 42 is? I think we have more backers who have no idea what Squadron 42 is than.
When do you think the tipping point was? What year?
2015.
Yeah.
The year that they split the packages. I think it was 2015 or 2016 when they split the packages.
That early? No, I think people still know about Squadron 42 back then. I think it's closer to 2018. 2018. Yeah. I think that's a tipping point.
When do you think the tipping point was, Vertigo? When do you think that split happened where more people knew about Star Citizen and Squadron 42?
Probably a little bit later, honestly. Probably around 2017, 2018. In my opinion, my imagination, because I think a lot of the new backers coming in this year kind of added to that. They probably just pledged for Star Citizen. CIG hasn't done a lot to really hype up Squadron 42 in the past 3 years, I would imagine, since 2019. Was it 2019 where they did the vertical slice? They did a teaser at the end of 2019, I think.
Yeah, it was
vertical slice in 2018.
2018, yeah. No, it was 2018. I was at CitizenCon in 2018. They did the cinematic trailer in 2018. It was the vertical slice was 2017. And then 2019, they did the visual trailer, and then they did nothing in 2022 and 2021.
No, so absolutely no crap. We had a huge number of people join the backers recently.
Technically, 2020, we had the burn down, but that was the last one we had.
All right.
Not the burn down. I'm sorry. The briefing room. The briefing room.
You could put up on a television room.
Right.
You can IGN wasn't putting the. That's kind of like what I'm talking about here. Something that IGN would put up on
Kotaku.
Yeah.
And to point to that, Star Citizens and Yakima, we like to host Virtual Bar Citizen, and I think we're going to we do a little hiatus now that the pandemic is over. But we had Jared and some CIG people show up quite a few times. One of the points that Jared made in one of the Bar Citizens is that, compared to 2012. A lot of people back in 2012 because of Chris Roberts' name, because he's one that Wing Commander experience. Compared to 2022, 2023, a lot of people are backing based on what they see of the game, and not so much on Chris Roberts' name, because people younger people may not even know what Wing Commander is now. So I think that's a similar thing when it comes to the Squadron 42 versus Star Citizen, and I'm happy people are backing more for Star Citizen now versus Squadron 42.
This is going to make my audience feel old, and everyone else this panel feel old. But there are content creators now who are streaming Star Citizen who were 14 when Star Citizen was launched.
Yep.
Couldn't drive a car.
I think I asked this question last time. Like how much of your life have been dedicated to Star Citizen? Like, if you were 40 back in 2012 and you turned 50 in 2022, that's 10 years, or that's like a fifth of your life you've been playing Star Citizen. If you're 14, that's like a half of your life.
Yeah.
Dedicated to Star Citizen.
I think a lot of them didn't back it back in 2012. They backed it when they, recently, but it's just like to give that context of how long it's been. So yeah, because that's what blew my mind when Gal came on. Gal 07 came on. Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm 24. I'm like, fuck me. God damn it. You were 13 when Star Citizen back.
A lot of people are going to be cutting their teeth on on Chris Roberts. Yeah. We were playing Chris Roberts games 40 years ago. Now people are going to be playing Star Citizen. And remember when they turn 50, they'd be like, "Hey, remember that Chris Roberts game I used to enjoy back in the day?" Time flows like a river, Paul.
Yeah. Yes.
Time flows like a river. Sometimes it comes back on itself.
So Citizens have a couple of new members, and they're in their 20s and 30s, and we have to watch ourselves around them, because we make old people joke, and they're like, "What? What are you talking about? A turntable? A cassette player? What's that?" Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, they may not get. So yeah. It does make us real old.
Yeah. Like my percentage of life, it's like, to put it in context, my wife and I got married the year after Star Citizen was kickstarted, and I didn't get into Star Citizen until 2015 or 2014. So it was like, my wife and I are having our 10th wedding anniversary this May.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. This I think it's June 1st. It's June 1st. As I gotta remember that. My wedding day. But we've been together for 15 years. So
congratulations, Paul.
Thank you. So that's one of those.
So another 15 more.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh gosh.
Many more. Don't put a time limit on it. Just say many more.
Well, and we were talking about it. My wife and I were talking about it today, and we were like, "It's been 15 years," and she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It doesn't feel like it's been 15 years." She's like, "No, it feels like it's been much less." I'm like, "Yeah, what happened to the time?" And that's been my experience with Star Citizen as well. Whenever someone brings up, "It's been 10 years," I'm like, "Has it been?" Yeah, it has been 10 years. You know, it doesn't, as much as we've had issues and there's been problems, like the game's gone a long way in 10 years, but still got a lot of problems.
I was having a similar issue and talking about CitizenCon and making reservations. We were talking in Discord and said, yeah, my last CitizenCon I went to was 2018, so that's 5 years ago. And I'm like, wait, it doesn't feel like 5 years. What the heck? But pandemic time that messes up everybody. Mm-hmm.
The pandemic was 2 decades and 2 years, and then since then it's been like a year and 5 every year.
When did that happen? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from Testastic, who asks, "Do you feel the shift in public opinion on Star Citizen? Do you feel a shift on it? It's normally been very antagonistic in the wider gaming space, but it feels like it's been getting better and better." Yes. Vertigo pointed this out. We've seen a lot of new people coming in. And I think as Star Citizen develops, once we get things like 4.0 and people can make content with 4.0, because I swear I'm not doing this because I'm selfish, but CIG has best advertisers or content creators. And when content creators are starved of content and they find Star Citizen, it's like, for a lot of them, it's like opening up finding a gem, a diamond in the rough, where they find something which has so much potential for content that no one in their sphere does. So they can just be like, yoink. And that's how we get people like Level Cap and Ollie and so many other people who've come into the community from outside as creators. And those people then bring in new people. And then, even Jack Frags plays Star Citizen off and on still. And Jack Frags is a huge content creator. So, Seer, who I've known in passing because I've known Space Boy, another RPer from GTA RP. Him and Seer are like buds. He's been playing Star Citizen and bringing new people in. So yeah, there's definitely a shift in the public opinion. And when we see like 4.0 go beyond, I think we'll start to see more of a mainstream appeal for Star Citizen. But we're still not there yet. What do y'all think? Go ahead, Fresco.
You want to go? Okay. So I think I still see some hit articles from Kotaku. I still see some hit articles from Massively OP, especially the clickbait titles. Every year they massively have a end of year rundown. And one of them says, which game or had the worst business model, and consistently Star Citizen has been at the top of the list. Even though they make a lot of money, they think it's predatory as their argument. But I mean, and then it's like I want to say you're ignoring all the mobile games and Star Atlas. I don't hear people about that, but Star Citizen has always been this boogeyman. But I think it's leveling off. It's getting better, and I think not just because of content creators. Well, they are content creators too, but machinima makers. Mm-hmm. People always see, what is this? It's all CGI, and people think maybe it's a cinematic from the game, but no, it's people playing the game, making machinima. So I think that helps too. And every Thursday we always feature one machinima on Joe Talk.
Nice. What do you think, Vertigo? Do you think that we're seeing a change in public opinion?
Yeah, mostly because we're just getting new backers. I mean, it's like changing your underwear. Like you take off your dirty underwear and you put on new clean underwear, and people are like, hey, you've improved your hygiene. No, you just changed your underwear. You haven't changed your habits at all. So, I mean, burnout is still a real thing. I mean, it depends if how quickly CIG starts developing stuff, but if they take another 5 years to like put stuff out, and also no one's ever accused Star Citizen backers of being impatient, but with this newest influx of backers, we don't know. Like we have just plenty of sour grapes in the community. Yeah, there's plenty of sour grapes in the veteran backers, and these newer backers, they may not tolerate no shenanigans.
I mean, we have a unique from Star Citizen. He's the OG backer. He backed in 2012 from the original Kickstarter. And one of his lines that he likes to remind us of occasionally on the show is like, he backed for Squadron 42. We are the dumbasses who backed for Star Citizen. So yeah, that's it. So he's been waiting a long time for that game.
I am too for different reasons though. We got 3 more questions left. One is from Araxa, who asks, have you seen the new Pax Dei MMO trailer? I don't know what Pax Dei is.
Yes. It's basically it's a generic medieval fantasy MMO. And there's almost nothing to see. They're just like a little cutscene of some dudes walking around like a forest and some open areas with grass and whatnot. And like, there's base building with like medieval kind of style.
So it's what is it? It's
Mountain Blade MMO.
Yeah.
New World.
Oh gosh, what is it called? There's a game that wasn't MMO that did stuff like that. It was called
Dark Age of Camelot.
No, with like base building and stuff like that. It was it was made by a Russian developer. I can't remember the name, but I played it a lot. It was like something. It was a pun on medieval, but
look at your Steam library, Paul. You'll figure it out.
I'd have to look back at it, but yeah.
I watched the announcement trailer where they kind of had like a little cinematic, and I watched it was like a 30-minute gameplay breakdown where they talked to the devs, and I just like, it's not a game for me. Like I prefer science fiction kind of settings. So to me, I was just like, oh no, they're another medieval game. Into the trash it goes. Yeah. Like not fucking interested. But I'm sure there's a lot of people who are excited by it. Like they had some very positive reception on Twitter when I looked at the
okay.
Thank you, Stephen. Yes, Life is Futile. It sounds like Life is Futile is what it does, but with more emphasis.
Yeah, they're going to have they have like a little safe area called the Hinterlands where you build your base with other players, and then that's going to be like a truly like PvE only area where players can't do anything to each other. And then you go out of the Hinterlands into like the world wider, and then it kind of opens up from there into like more PvE kind of style gameplay. And David Stream was like, it's not generic Vertigo. It looked just like every other medieval game I've ever seen. like Mountain Blade. It looked like, what was that game that Exodus likes I was talking about? Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
I know. Well, he was like, there was a game he was playing that was released recently that was like super realistic combat with like medieval storyline.
Oh yeah, it was in CryEngine too.
Yeah. Can't remember the name of the game.
Kingdom
Exodus
Come.
loved it.
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Yeah, it looked. Yeah, it just. I don't really like that setting, so that's my hang up. So I realized that not all games are made for me, but when I saw it, I was like, I'm not interested.
I went to school for this sort of thing, so I'd be interested in checking it out, but I'd have to learn more. What do you think, Fastcard?
I'm in a similar position as Vertigo. It's like I'm not really burnt out on the fantasy setting, but I turned 50 last year, so the big 5-0. So I've seen Thank you. I've seen plenty of fantasy games come and go, and right now I'm looking for a good sci-fi game or something with science and maybe some fantasy mixed in, or maybe post-apocalyptic, because basically that means it's an advanced culture, but it's not like that. But they've gone backwards, so something like that is fine. With something straight up with elves, dwarves, halflings, not for me at its current time.
All right, we got 2 more questions. One's from Peruna, who asks, When are they going to release at least a partial lore Bible? They must be huge chunks. They won't change anymore, or is it just too early?
Isn't that literally the Galactopedia?
That is the Galactopedia. Yeah, the lore Bible is the Galactopedia. And that's
it's already out right now, and it's kind of partial. It's like not even a partial. It's like a fraction of what it's supposed to be.
They update it once a month. But they add tons of articles once a month. Usually,
Paul, we should probably give him a link to the Galactopedia. That would be a great idea. Let's drop that.
Karuna knows that. But yeah, what was that, Fastcart?
No, they updated it last week. The Galactopedia. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that's really what it is. It's just not everything's done yet, so they'll partially be updating. I think we'll know more when they have the Galactopedia out for players to use, which won't happen until after they fix the Moby-Glass, which won't happen until the end of this year. Yeah. So, or
if they would have put out a book for all the lore pieces they put out in 2012, how many pages would you think that book would?
Hold on, I got it here.
easily a
page like this size. This is my Merriam-Webster Collegic Dictionary.
Oh, okay.
Like it's probably be like this. Like
I would
probably
say
bigger than that.
Twice that. I would say twice that.
Yeah, that's very small text as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last question for the day is Jordan Moreno asks, will we ever see the planets and fauna showcased in the Carrick commercial?
Ooh. Or the Constellation commercial. Remember that one?
Mm-hmm. I don't think we'll see
them. I don't know when.
We'll see them
eventually, but I don't know when.
I don't think we'll see them directly, but I'm sure we'll see what was inspired. They were inspired by. Just like we've seen, like if you go back and watch, I think the 2016 or 2017 gameplay demo from CitizenCon where they're in ArcCorp. Like the ArcCorp, the skyline they had for that was completely different from what we got. It was cool, but it was completely different. The version we got is still okay, but it was very different. I think that's gonna be like that. Like, cause I'm sure those areas were inspired by actual descriptions of stuff in the verse, but then they'll probably tweak it when they actually get to it.
Didn't they? I remember they were talking about on a Inside Star Citizen or Star Citizen Live, like within the last month, where one of the designers made something and they're like, we have to put that in the game because it was in this. It was like a throwaway item they made for like an advertisement or something, and then one of the designers. Huh?
The Aves armor, the bird.
The Aves armor. Someone for like the Banu commercial or something. I think it was the Banu Cube.
It was Banu Cube, the Banu Cube.
Yeah, the Banu Cube. Like they just made it as a MacGuffin for a ship commercial, and then they're like they just made it into the thing in the game. Sometimes that happens. They just make crap for a commercial, and they have no intention of putting it into the game, and then they're like, hey, let's put that in the game.
I think those glowing worms inside of the cave were also added to the game, so like that sort of thing.
I'm looking forward to the day where, like, the whip crab, people usually call it the nightmare crab, but it's called a whip crab now, and the Boreal Stalker will be added into the game, because I think those will be great raid boss. You're talking about going to a dungeon, Vertigo. You imagine that encounter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Nightmare fuel.
I definitely like to see some of that stuff, but I don't think we'll see it directly. So that was the last question. Thank you so much to Fastcart and HG Vertigo for joining us. As always, if you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that follow button. Make sure you are checking out Fastcart on the People's Radio and Soul Citizens. Make sure you check out HG Vertigo at twitch.tv/HG Vertigo and his YouTube channels, HG Vertigo everywhere. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you come join us live on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll be streaming on Twitch and on YouTube. So this will be recorded for after the fact. You can come ask your own questions. I'd love to hear your own thoughts on these questions we asked, and also ask your own questions in the comments below. And as always, remember, Ex Historia. Oh, that was the wrong one. That's Ex Historian. As always, remember, hope to see you someday in the black.
Don't forget me on Black History Month next year, Paul.
I will.
Yeah,
I definitely will.